So let me get going here. A little bit of intro music to get started. See you in a minute.
He don't talk unless the proof is in the lines. Receipts in the folder, coded truth in these rhymes. Power play, chess moving pawns through the blind. But a diligent denizen sees designs in the signs. They disguise what they hide, he just shows how it's shaped. Every source double check, never roll with the fakes. In this world full of wolves, he's exposing the snakes. Document every whisper, got the quotes and the dates. He don't chase what they post, he investigates where it stems. Paper trails never lie, follows links to the end. Truth is power, it bends, but yet it always defends. What's verified never shakes, even lost in the trends. So when he speaks, it's a lens, not a rumor or a vibe. He cuts through the noise, pulls the proof from the lies. This is for the people trying to see through the disguise. Diligent denizen where the real can survive.
All right, Harmony, are you ready? You ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready than I've ever been. How about you? It's Friday. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm the Tyler Robinson thing. That trial is a lot of major decisions are going to be potentially made today by the judge. First and foremost, there is a motion to remove the cameras and the press from the courtroom. That's going to get seriously looked at by the judge today. That's going to determine on whether or not we're allowed to see what's going on in the courtroom, or if recording devices at all, audio, right? Our visibility of what's happening in that trial is at risk here today because of the media that has consistently broken the rules when it comes to what you can and can't do in that courtroom. So that's going to go in front of the judge. There's a few other motions. Another very significant motion is to push back the evidentiary hearing, which is scheduled for next week, back into at least this summer or late summer or even early fall because of the massive scope and scale of all of the discovery evidence that the prosecution has to get to the defense so that it can prepare its case. Now, we saw a motion a few weeks ago that kind of detailed how far behind the prosecution is as far as getting those reports and that evidence over to the defense. You have a constitutional right to see all of the evidence or most of the evidence, if not the primary evidence that is used to accuse you of a crime in the United States. That way you can prepare a suitable defense, right? They have to give you an opportunity to defend yourself fairly. And the defense is saying that it has not had that opportunity because of the quote unquote voluminous amount of evidence in this case. And so we're going to hear some of that today as well. I believe, given that they're going to be discussing the motion to push that back, we'll hear arguments that will disclose even more information as to what the holdup is and what potential evidence is going to be presented in the case against Tyler Robinson. And then, of course, we had the quote unquote UFO disclosure by the War Department of UFOs, like not aliens. Let me just get this clear. They never said anything about extraterrestrials. They're talking about UFOs going as far back as the 1950s, 1940s. I haven't seen anything too impressive. But I know there's a lot of UFO junkies who are extremely happy with that today. To me, it just feels like more of a distraction to what's actually going on in our country and what the real problem is. So if you're over on YouTube, please like and share the video. Share, that helps with the algorithm. Share that with your normie friends who are not on X. If you're on X, please repost the space. I'm going to have the trial, or the hearing is set to start in 15 minutes. So I figured that we would kind of go over some of the UFO stuff or talk about that for a minute, while just to kill some time. And then when the hearing starts, we'll start watching that. Have you watched any of the UFO disclosure stuff, Harmony? Have you learned anything?
Well, a lot of the things I don't ever watch the news. I just kind of absorb it through memes because I'm a millennial. But what I'm seeing is that it seems like they have released things that are somewhat biblically accurate. It's not anything that's too like far fetched or I haven't seen like gray aliens or anything about abductions or anything like that. Just like seraphim-esque things that would you can actually find maybe like in the Bible. But other than that, I mean, is there anything that sticks out to you that you've seen so far?
I mean, the thing, what you're talking about, the seraphim esque thing, is an eight pointed figure over the screen, leaving a. I think this is very revealing. It was leaving a trail. I don't know if you saw that, an exhaust trail. So how does a alleged, advanced technology that is breaking the laws of thermodynamics and physics as we know them, how is it leaving a chemtrail? It seems, I don't know, it's a little odd to me, right? It seems a little, it just doesn't make any sense. So watching that video that you're referring to, which is the one that Anna Polina Luna and has been going viral all over X, um, in my opinion, that's likely is likely edited, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling like that.
It tracks a little hard, right? It tracks a little hard. It looks like something's hovering over something on the screen, right? It's like a mask, an
Yeah, it's
overlay.
not fair that it's like they release this in the day and age of like AI and CGI. Everything is so advanced that it's like, how do we even know if that's real or not?
And then another thing is the push for the seraphim and the angel aspect of it. The government has been, and I'm a Christian, right? So I'm an Orthodox Christian. I'm not a religious Christian. I'm a spiritual Christian, right? Um, the government's been pushing this evangelical ideology really hard since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which I thought was a little coincidental that we have this massive evangelical push in the wake of America's brightest young voices assassination, an institutional level. What that means is that the government itself and its arms through the media have been pushing this evangelical Christian ideology on us, force feeding it down us. Oh, the miracle bullet, right? The miracle bullet, the 30-06 bullet that couldn't make it through somebody's neck. It was a miracle. It saved the lives of all of those around him, right? The government has been pushing this evangelical ideology and shoving it down our throats for the last nearly a year, right? And the day of one of the most critical hearings of Charlie Kirk's assassination, they decided to release the UFO files that just happened to involve Christian angels. Oh, go figure. And then all of their actors and actresses in the Congress, right? I mean, I love Anna Polina Luna. She's beautiful. There's a lot of things I like about her, but let's just face it, all of our representatives in Congress are actors, paid actresses. And so you have her pushing this notion on this day. I don't think it's a coincidence, and this is just PR strategy wise, that they happen to release the UFO files on the very same day that we're having this massive hearing. I think it's a distraction from things that really matter, the Epstein files, the Charlie Kirk assassination case, and so many other things that have to do with government corruption that we should be looking at. So that's what I think about that whole angel thing. What do you think about my perspective?
Yeah, and you're right. It seems like even like when they had Erica Kirk kind of, take the place of Charlie, whatever that means, she has definitely been pushing this like Christian ideology that might even go like into Christian Zionism a little bit. So it's just interesting how they feel, and even, like, when Donald Trump got shot, that was another, thing that was like, "It was a miracle, he didn't get shot," you know what I mean? So, I'm just kind of, like, gearing up to see, like, what are they gonna project something in the sky that's like a seraphim, and then everyone will panic? Or, like, what every time the, like, government seems to have an idea about something, it always kinda, like, backfires. I don't ever see it really working out the way that, you know, I mean, it's not like when Charlie Kirk got shot, everyone just accepted that was what happened. Like, a lot of things have come out, and they're almost like trying to do everything they can to, like, stop us from figuring out the truth. But a lot of people really care about the truth, and it's something, it's like the sun, you just can't hide it. So I think your perspective is pretty on point, to be honest with you. And I don't see anything that might, you know, be so real that I just can't doubt that it could be, you know what I mean, fake. It mostly just feels like fake stuff coming from the White House.
100%, 100%. As you can see, if you're over on YouTube, we have the courtroom feed going on the screen, so we're just waiting for it to get started. Again, it's scheduled to start at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 3 p.m. Mountain Time. That's where in Utah time. And so they should be starting. They're pretty good about starting on time, and we should jump right into the hearing. Again, this hearing is a big deal for us. If you are following this case closely, like I know many of you are, that the Charlie Kirk assassination case, the judge at the beginning, he promised transparency. He said, "I'm going to allow the cameras and microphones to be in the courtroom because this case is of significance to we the people. It's a national interest, right? It's in the people's interest for transparency and for us to be able to observe what's happening with this case. Arguably, probably the most impactful assassination since JFK, right? And now we have the prosecution and the defense working in tandem. Imagine that, to try and remove we the people from the courtroom. Now, it's not without some fault of the media, the reporters who are there, the cameramen who are there, particularly the local stations, have made numerous fumbles, breaking the rules set forth by the judge for coverage in there, focusing on Tyler Robinson's face while he's speaking, having fake interpreters misinterpret what he said, alluding to a confession and all kinds of crazy stuff, tainting a potential juror pool. Like you have to think, you see all of these shills in the right wing media proclaiming that he's guilty, right? Over and over and over again. They haven't even selected a jury yet, right? So the new media, the so-called new media, and the legacy media have been out here tainting the jury pool, creating a prejudiced jury. What that means is that they're telling people that he's guilty already. So any potential juror who watches TV or who's on social media is going to see this message and potentially have it in their head before they're even selected that he's guilty, right? And so it'll create a situation where he's not even going to be able to get a fair trial at this point. So hopefully, I think that we should keep I think we should be able to. I think it's important for we the people, especially if you believe that this is all kind of an operation. Um, it's important that we the people see what's going on in this courtroom, or nobody's going to buy it, right? And let me just say this: when a government's um, institutions are no longer hold the faith of the people, well, the government falls apart. I mean, this whole government by the consent thing only works if you consent. If you no longer believe that a government serves you, there's only one way it stays in power, and that's through tyranny. And so it's a very important that we see every bit of this, that the people have faith that justice is truly being served here, either for Charlie Kirk or for Tyler Robinson, right? We don't know that he's guilty. In the United States, we are presumed innocent until proven guilty by a jury of our peers in a court of law, right? That is the standard here in the United States. That is your constitutional right. right? You are presumed innocent. So anybody who is telling you that he is guilty before he has had his day in court is a propagandist, right? I don't know if he's innocent. I don't know if he's guilty. I lean towards he knew, at least knew something of what was going on. He may have been involved in some way, but I find it highly unlikely, given the nature of Charlie's injury and the alleged murder weapon and all the discrepancies we've seen, that he was the shooter or working alone, right? At the very least. But I am open minded on this. I am perfectly, if compelling evidence is brought forth, I am perfectly willing to accept that he may be guilty of this crime. I am also perfectly willing to accept that he could be innocent of this crime. And that is the position I think we should all take. You should not marry yourself to a belief without compelling evidence. I think that belief should be restricted toward things of faith. But as far as your opinion or your position, those should be married to compelling evidence all the time. I'm just going to give a little precursor. Um, you guys should you guys should definitely be um, you guys should definitely be looking up anything that you hear on my stage. I'll be using AI sometimes to try to interpret some of the law. Um, don't take anything that I say or my speakers say at face value. Do your own research. Whenever you hear something made that catches your interest or intrigues you, please, or you scratch your head or you're wondering what it's about, take the 30 seconds or so that's required to look something up and independently verify it from one or two different sources. Don't take anything that anybody says in my spaces at face value. Do your own research and verification of any statements that are made. What's up, Katie?
Oh my goodness me. I sorry, I was just researching who no, I've been listening and I was researching who his lawyer is. It's Catherine Nestor from Nestor Lewis PLLC. But then also I was much like you were saying that we should all do our own research, etc. What I find interesting is I came across just from I believe it was 8 days ago Robinson's defense lawyers in a court filing asserted that the ATF was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. And I think that that is a crucial point because, like you say, you have to present the evidence and the facts, etc., etc. I'm confused as to why they don't want the cameras or audio in. However, yes, I agree with you that we should all be privy to the information. Absolutely, it's a case of public interest. Um, but that's why I did I was just doing a deep dive now, sorry, on who the attorney is representing him and where we're at with everything. What do you think about that statement, Diligent, about there's no evidence that the bullet was matching anything?
So it came back inconclusive, was where it came back. Apparently, this is a Zoom meeting. They didn't do it. I didn't know that. This is a Zoom meeting. There's no sound yet. It's going. So as soon as there's sound, we see the judge in here. I will turn it on. Right now, they're just having a conversation. So the attorney, is that what you were talking about? Is that what you're asking me about?
His
Well, no,
attorney.
yeah. So okay, so I
So
was
she
just
is a federal state supplied
yeah.
attorney. Yep. Yeah, which I don't trust her.
Well,
I don't.
I was just doing a deep dive research on what her record basically is of who she represents and so on and so forth. The upsetting thing is there is a difference between the law and what like we as the people understand like factually what the law is and those that uh quote utilize it in whichever way shape or form. I don't trust anyone as far as I can throw them um because just because there would be certain facts and evidence etc it doesn't mean that those in these certain positions, whether it's a judge, attorney, defense attorney, whatever, is going to do the right thing. It's all seemingly theatrics. I don't trust it whatsoever. So I am intrigued to hear a little bit more from you, Diligent, as to your findings and
It looks
understanding.
like the sound's on for the hearing, so I'm going to cut over to. Let's go to the. I'm not a fan of court supplied attorneys. I think that they're a part of the system, and so therefore they don't get any of my trust. Sorry, Katie. Let's go to famous real quick, and then I'm going to cut to the feed.
I know you don't do speculation, but in my little brain over here, I can't help but wondering whether the media is in on the game and deliberately showing stuff that they're not supposed to show. Thanks, I'm out.
No, that thought crossed my mind after they continuously broke the rules. These are career media people, career cameramen, right? And the fact that the judge didn't violate, like he should have the very first, like first or second time, he should have given them a contempt of court, maybe sat one of them in jail, and I bet you that would have kind of set the standard for the rest of the trial. But because he didn't, and the fact that they kept getting away with it, and now it's jeopardizing our access, I do lean towards. I mean, that's definitely a possibility in my mind. Do me a favor, you guys, repost the space, share our YouTube. I'm gonna get it going here. Here we go. Oh, now I can't hear it. I could just hear it a second ago. Can you guys hear?
Nope.
No.
It looks like they're all just sitting there. I'll leave it. I'll just leave it unmuted. Let me test the audio just to make sure it's working. It's working. All right. So it's not us. It is the courtroom. So they haven't turned the audio on. I'll just leave it on and it'll start kicking on. Yeah, I don't trust anything with this entire deal, right? Like, it's just there. The judge. This is his first trial ever. The most significant trial of the century.
I beg
And
your
this,
pardon. That's his
yeah,
first ever trial.
yeah, he was assigned to being a judge by the governor just a couple of months before
Oh
this happened.
no bueno.
So not only has he not overseen a murder trial, he's never overseen any trial at all.
This has all the makings of a scam, right? Oh, you got a judge. Oh, it was his first trial. He didn't know what he was doing. Everything, all the way up from the incident itself until now, is suspect.
The
Good afternoon. Court is now in session.
All right, here we go.
Calling case number 251-501-576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Counsel, please enter your appearances.
Ryan McBride, Chad Grunander, Jeff Gray, Chris Ballard, David Sturgill, Lauren Hunt for the state.
Good afternoon.
Michael Burt, Richard Novak, and Stacy Visser for Mr. Robinson.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Jeff Hunt and Carissa Erisk for the news media, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. And Mr. Robinson, are you with us? Let's try again. Mr. Robinson, are you joining us this afternoon? Good afternoon to you, Mr. Robinson. All right, before the court issues its rulings, the court is wishing for an update on the status of discovery to the state.
Yes, Your Honor. We continue to receive and provide discovery. The materials that were brought up at the last hearing, the DNA files, the ATF DNA files have been transferred. I think the defense is making their way through those. We provided much of those in digital format through an online sharing process. That wasn't workable, so we provided a jump drive with those materials from the ATF. We consistently hit the 100% mark where we provided everything that we have received, and material continues to come in, so we continue to provide that. So that's the status of discovery. FBI is still responding to the special discovery request. I expect to have that response within the next couple of weeks. They asked for some time when I spoke to them about 3 weeks ago. So we expect to have that response quickly as well.
Thank you. Defense, did you want the benefit of the record?
Special discovery matters that Mr. McBride was just referring to were the DNA files from the FBI. I just want to make sure we clarify that for your honor. And also, I think we just received 1,600 files either today or yesterday, I believe today. And that's all.
Thank you. All right, prior to the court's rulings on the two issues before it today, the court acknowledges the quality of the briefing and the professionalism and civility during the presentation of evidence and during the oral arguments. The court has taken the necessary time to consider the evidence before it and balancing the constitutional rights of Mr. Robinson and Ms. Kirk. These rulings take into consideration these important constitutional rights. I will begin with the ruling and order on defendant's motion to vacate or continue preliminary hearing pending discovery and to permit constitutionally adequate time for preparation. And I will be reading from my order and will be uploading the written orders very soon after this hearing concludes. Per the state's request during December 11th, 2025 hearing, the court scheduled a preliminary hearing for May 18th and 19th and 21st and 2026, but noted that the date was not set in stone and could be moved if needed. Defendant now seeks to continue the scheduled preliminary hearing via his motion to vacate or continue preliminary hearing pending discovery. For the following reasons, the court determines that a continuance is both reasonable and necessary to safeguard defendants' procedural rights while ensuring the orderly and fair administration of these proceedings with due consideration for the interests of the victim representative, the parties, and the public. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is for the prosecution to present evidence from which the court may find probable cause to believe the crimes charged have been committed and the defendant committed it. And I'm going to omit the citations, but that will be in the written ruling. A preliminary hearing serves the essential purpose of ferreting out groundless and improvident prosecutions early in the process. Indeed, the preliminary hearing is a fundamental procedural right guaranteed by Article 1, Section 13 of the Utah Constitution. The decision to continue a preliminary hearing rests within the sound discretion of the trial court. Generally, a continuance is considered reasonable when there is a showing of good cause and the request is made for legitimate reasons. The court notes that the May preliminary hearing dates, which allotted some 5 months between the scheduling of the prelim and the hearing itself, was set as a goalpost for the parties and to preserve time on the court's calendar. This is defendant's first request for a continuance, and given the volume of discovery, the request is neither unexpected or unreasonable. At the time the present motion was filed, the digital electronic discovery had reached 12 terabytes. The defense counsel estimated they would need at least approximately 60 days to conduct initial review and possibly hundreds of hours to conduct a comprehensive review. Substantial discovery continued to be produced as of March of this year. The court recognizes that additional delay imposes real burdens on the parties, the victim representative, and the public's interest in the timely administration of justice. A defendant's constitutional right to effective assistance of counsel is no less important at the preliminary hearing than it is at any other stage. Providing defense counsel sufficient time to review the extensive discovery is necessary to ensure effective representation and under the circumstances presented here, establishes good cause for a continuance. The scope of a preliminary hearing, however, is admittedly narrow and utilizes the lower evidentiary bar of probable cause as opposed to beyond a reasonable doubt. Furthermore, the court must view all the evidence in light most favorable to the prosecution and draw all reasonable inferences in favor of the prosecution for purposes of making the requisite bind-over decision. The preliminary hearing is not the time to weigh credible but conflicting evidence. Accordingly, any future requests for additional delay to obtain further expert analysis, such as DNA testing, must be supported by a particularized showing that the requested analysis is reasonably necessary to the fair resolution of issues, particularly where the existing evidence is sufficient for the limited probable cause determination at issue. The court is also mindful of the impact a delayed trial or delayed hearing may have on the victim representative's constitutional rights. To mitigate this impact, under Utah Code Section 77-38-7 sub 3, directs the court to consider the interests of the victim of a crime to a speedy resolution of the charges under the same standards that governs a defendant's right to a speedy trial. The court remains committed to the victim representative's interest in the speedy disposition of this case, just as it is committed to protecting defendants' constitutional rights and maintaining the fair and impartial administration of justice. The court also concludes that the revised hearing dates reasonably balance defense counsel's need to review the presently disclosed discovery with the victim's representatives and the public's interest in the timely progression of the proceedings. Therefore, the court grants defendant's motion and reschedules the preliminary hearing for July 6th, July 7th, the afternoon of July 8th, July 9th, and July 10th, 2026, in order to protect the defendant's constitutional rights while minimizing unnecessary delay and preserving the fair, prompt, and impartial administration of justice. This is the order of the court. Counsel, that concludes the first ruling of this court. Court now turns to the second issue before it, ruling an order on defendant's motion to exclude still photographers, TV cameras, and microphones from the courtroom, and standing order on electronic media coverage requests. One moment, I need a little bit of water before I start reading the next one. Thank you. Before the court is defendant's motion to exclude still photographers, TV cameras, and microphones from the courtroom. Defendant seeks an order categorically prohibiting any electronic media coverage during the pendency of this case. Because defendant has not shown that a categorical ban on electronic media coverage for all proceedings in this case is allowed by Utah law, defendant's motion is respectfully denied. At defendant's request, the court held an evidentiary hearing where Dr. Brian Edelman, a trial consultant, and Dr. Christine Ruva, a cognitive psychologist, testified in support of defendant's motion. Dr. Edelman conducted a survey of 200 people in Utah County and prepared a report with his assessment of the local community's consumption of media coverage of this case. His base findings reveal that 99% of the community members recognize the case and that 64% believe defendant is guilty based off what they have heard, read, or seen in the media. He examined press coverage of the hearings that have taken place since defendant's initial appearance in court and discovered that only about 25% of the viewers watched the live stream of the court hearings. A majority of the remaining viewers consume media commentary of the live stream recordings over social media and local television news sources. According to his research, the commentary from established news media does not provide a neutral summary of court proceedings. Rather, headlines and talking heads typically focus on out-of-court statements made by attorneys and prominent members of the community and country. As a result, viewers are led to believe that the comments made out of court, such as the comments about unadmitted evidence, are made during a court hearing and part of the criminal case. According to Dr. Edelman, this commentary primarily supports the prosecution's narrative and is used as entertainment, sensationalism, and commercialization rather than to educate the public on what is occurring during the court proceedings. Dr. Edelman also expressed concerns that media coverage of the security measures used during the court proceedings, combined with cameras in the courtroom, will be added pressure on the potential jury pool and contribute to potential jurors' reluctance to serve on a future jury. During cross-examination, Dr. Edelman testified that viewers who watch the live stream, usually on social media and streaming sites, are inundated with commentary from other viewers spreading misinformation. Although the commentary is being made by the public, it is not generated by the live stream itself. In his view, the commentary would not exist without the live stream of court proceedings. Dr. Edelman's opinion is that continued media coverage, electronic media coverage of court proceedings will perpetuate prejudicial and misleading views of the defendant and the evidence and affect defendants' fair trial rights. Dr. Ruva testified that she specializes in the study of jury decision-making, specifically how pretrial publicity affects memory and the deliberative process. Among other concepts, her studies focus on source primacy of pretrial publicity, which indicates that if jurors are front-loaded with the extensive amount of negative pretrial publicity toward a defendant, it is difficult to overcome their initial biases, even if presented with positive publicity about the defendant or negative publicity about an alleged victim. Dr. Ruva examined the pretrial publicity referenced in defendant's motion, which she summarized as provoking moral outrage and predominantly anti-defendant, full of dehumanizing language and accusations of guilt. Dr. Ruva explained that the jurors have a high amount of confidence that the information they use to reach a verdict is based on evidence that was presented at trial. However, research shows that jurors' memories cannot distinguish between what was heard at trial and what was heard from pretrial publicity. Jurors may even unconsciously distort evidence they hear during trial to align it with slanted information they heard pre-trial. Because video and audio sources of pretrial publicity result in more emotional responses, these sources are better remembered than other sources of information. Dr. Ruva's expert opinion is that live streaming of all proceedings can lead to deep-seated bias in juror deliberations. And while juror questionnaires can help eliminate jurors with the explicit biases, they are not effective at identifying implicit biases. Dr. Ruva concluded with her expert opinion that to a reasonable degree of psychological certainty, this case is situated within a highly prejudicial pretrial environment that presents a substantial risk to juror impartiality. Based upon this evidence and an evaluation of the factors listed in Rule 4-401.01 of the Utah Rules of Judicial Administration, defendant argues that exclusion of electronic media is necessary to ensure Mr. Robinson's right to due process, to a fair and impartial jury, to counsel, and to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures, and to be free from cruel and unusual punishment as required by the 4th, 6th, 8th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and Article 1, Sections 7, 9, 10, 12, and 14 of the Utah Constitution. Members of the media, like members of the public, have constitutional rights to access criminal proceedings. Again, the citations will be in the order that will be filed. I will not read them right now. However, like the public, the news media does not have a constitutional right to photograph or video record public hearings and trials. Once beyond the confines of the courthouse, a news gathering agency may publicize within wide limits what its representatives have heard and seen in the courtroom, but the line is drawn at the courthouse door. Although electronic media coverage is not protected by the Constitution, neither does the Constitution ban electronic media simply because there is a danger that, in some cases, prejudicial broadcast accounts of pretrial and trial events may impair the ability of jurors to decide the issue of guilt or innocence uninfluenced by extraneous matter. Electronic media coverage provides a means to facilitate the public's right of access to court proceedings for those who cannot physically occupy the limited space available in a courtroom. Live streaming in particular allows as many people as are interested to observe the justice system at work and hold our branches of government accountable to the guarantees of due process. Defendant argues that the decision whether to allow electronic media coverage is governed by Shepard v. Maxwell, which held that there is a reasonable likelihood that prejudicial news prior to trial will prevent a fair trial, that the court must take remedial measures to abate any threat to the fairness of the proceedings. Defendant argues that because video recording and streaming of court proceedings creates a reasonable likelihood of prejudicing defendant's right to a fair and impartial jury, this court should ban courtrooms for the remainder of the case. This court should ban media in the courtrooms for the remainder of the case. Consistent with Shepard, the court has taken remedial measures to abate threats to the fairness of these proceedings. For example, the court has positioned the video camera to the back of the courtroom, which has minimized, if not entirely mitigated, the potential for media to capture conversations at counsel's tables and documents on counsel's computer screens. The court has issued a robust decorum order to manage the proceedings and a pretrial publicity order to prevent statements from attorneys involved in the case from potentially prejudicing the jury pool. Rule 4-401.01 of the Utah Rules of Judicial Administration governs the court's determination of whether to grant or restrict electronic media coverage. The rule allows a news reporter to file a written request for permission to photograph or video record public proceedings. The rule creates a presumption that the permission will be granted as long as the predominant purpose of the electronic media coverage request is journalism or dissemination of news to the public. Defendant argues there is no presumption of electronic media coverage because the predominant purpose of dissemination of the court hearings in this case is not for journalism or the dissemination of news. Rather, it is for entertainment, sensationalism, and the promotion of commercial products. Defendant provided many examples of media outlets using footage of courtroom proceedings as background or as a springboard to discuss out-of-court commentary by public figures, opine on the relevance or existence of evidence that has not been admitted or presented in court, and generally vilify the defendant. The state referenced social media posts that have used media coverage of the case to promote conspiracy theories and to denigrate Charlie Kirk and his family. No evidence was presented by either party showing a media outlet using live media coverage to educate the public about the progress of the legal proceedings or the justice system as a whole. This court is not so cynical as to conclude that just because the parties did not present evidence of responsible journalism, none exists. Defendant did not interrogate the use of the live stream of prior court proceedings by the news reporters who filed the electronic media coverage requests under Rule 4-401.01. Applying the plain language of the rule, it is the motives of these specific news reporters, the requesting reporters, that the court must question, not the entire universe of media outlets and social media sites that have published information or misinformation about this case. Because under Rule 4-401.01 sub 2A, the court must examine the motivations of specific news reporter who request to photograph or record the proceedings. Defendants' request for a blanket finding by this court that there is no presumption of electronic media coverage is respectfully denied. The court must determine whether the presumption applies on a request-by-request basis, depending on the predominant purpose of the requesting news reporter. Determining whether there is a presumption of media coverage is not the end of the analysis. The judge may prohibit or restrict electronic media coverage in those cases only if the judge finds that the reasons for doing so are sufficiently compelling to outweigh the presumption. The rule then lists 9 factors, some or all of which the court must consider to determine whether to limit electronic media coverage of court proceedings. Defendant argues that because the rules uses the phrase "in those cases," the court has authority to weigh the listed factors and find the presumption of electronic media coverage has been overcome for the pendency of a case, regardless of the type of the proceeding held. Reading the rule as a whole, the court disagrees with the defendant's interpretation. The court interprets the phrase "in those cases" to mean the same thing as "in those situations," where there is a presumption of electronic media coverage. The court's interpretation is consistent with subsections 2C and 2D of the rule. Subsection 2C requires the court to make particularized findings, denying or granting a particular request. And subsection 2D requires that those particularized findings to relate to the specific circumstances of the proceeding rather than reflect generalized views or preferences. Court proceedings vary in character and substance, ranging from scheduling conferences to oral arguments to evidentiary hearings and to the trial itself. The dangers of prejudice and the newsworthiness of the proceeding may vary considerably depending on its nature. Therefore, because the court must make a particularized finding about specific court proceedings that are the subject of a news reporter request, defendant's request for a categorical finding that the presumption of electronic media coverage has been overcome is respectfully denied. The court must make the appropriate findings on a request-by-request basis. Unless otherwise ordered by the court, Rule 4-401.013A requires news reporters to file an electronic media request at least 1 business day before the court proceeding. 1 business day is insufficient time for the parties to object to electronic media coverage or for the court to weigh the appropriate factors and issue a decision. Therefore, the court enters the following. This is the standing order on electronic media coverage. News reporters are required to file requests for electronic media coverage of court proceedings at least 14 days before the scheduled proceeding. The request must be consistent with all other provisions of Rule 4-401.01. Any request that is filed later than 14 days before the proceeding may be summarily denied. All requests will be filed in the docket. If a party seeks to suspend or restrict electronic media coverage of a court proceeding, the party must file a motion under Rule 4-401.01 no later than 10 days before the proceeding. The motion must address the particular circumstances of the proceeding and be no more than 4 pages in length. The opposing party may respond to the motion no later than 5 days before the proceeding. The response is limited to no more than 4 pages in length. Any reply must be filed no later than 3
Please go
days
tear the
before the
post up in the
hearing.
Jumbotron. Thank
The
you.
reply is limited to 3 pages in length. No oral argument on the motion will be held. The court will issue an order before the proceeding, and if the request is denied, issue particularized findings denying the request. The evidence presented at the April 17, 2026 hearing and all arguments already in the record are preserved. This is the order of the court. This concludes the reading of the second ruling of this court. All right, counsel, what I want to turn to next is addressing the outstanding motions. As we are vacating the preliminary hearing, which is set for, I believe it's May 18th, the week of May 18th, that frees up time to address outstanding motions. And the court wishes to make best use of the time as you were previously scheduled to be there. So I'll turn to the parties to hear from you in determining if the parties will be prepared to address the motions that are outstanding. Turning to a defense.
Your Honor, I believe, are you talking about the ones that have been fully briefed at this point?
That's correct, or anticipated to be fully briefed before that week begins.
Yes, Your Honor, we can be prepared to do that.
All right, and to be clear, do you want to put on the record the motions that you wish to address at that hearing, just so all parties are on notice and we know how we're proceeding?
Give me just a minute, Your Honor, and I'll pull them up. I know one of them is the motion for the order to show cause and compel discovery. I know that one is pending right now. Just 1 minute, let me pull them up.
The obese woman. in the
Kathy,
top
while
right
you're doing
corner
that, Your Honor, I show
is
three
his attorney.
outstanding motions. The one is
Sorry, not
the
obese,
motion for
blonde.
an order to show cause and contempt. That is fully briefed. I believe that's ready to be argued. Actually, I think that's a notice to submit without argument is how it's been submitted. The second
Wow.
is motion to close the preliminary hearing and seal exhibits. That was filed May 1st. We intend to use the full 2 weeks to respond. If the defense intends to reply, the reply will be, I believe, the 21st, which will be the day before the current preliminary hearing dates end. So I don't know if they intend to waive that reply time and argue it at that time or not. And then the final one is the recent motion the defense filed to find the use of hearsay at the preliminary hearing unconstitutional. We intend to use the full 2 weeks to respond to that. It also hasn't been served on the Attorney General's office, so that one will not be ready by the time of our preliminary hearing dates. We're going to have to find another date for that. We've also objected to the motion to close the prelim and seal exhibits because our objection is that it's not specific enough. We don't know which exhibits that is. So that issue needs to be resolved too before it can actually, from our view, be argued and decided upon.
All right, thank you, Mr. McBride. Turning to Ms. Nestor.
I do think we were waiting on their supplemental exhibit and witness list, which we have received. I don't know if they're still going to update it again, but that's one of the things we were waiting on before we identified which matters needed to be sealed in the preliminary hearing. So I know we could perhaps get together and talk with the prosecution about whether they anticipate adding any additional exhibits. And then we can probably specify which exhibits we think, but we had to leave it open because we didn't have their final exhibit list until within the last, I think, 2 days. We would be prepared to argue the motion to show cause and the motion to close the preliminary hearing. I do believe we either have, and I would defer to Ms. Visser, I believe we either have served the Attorney General or we are just about to serve the Attorney General, but I do anticipate that one might not be ready to argue by the week of the 18th. That one probably, I would agree, may need an extra date, but it would need to be heard prior to the preliminary hearing because it deals with whether some of the 1102s can be presented at the preliminary hearing.
All right, so my understanding is it sounds like the parties will be ready for defendant's motion in limine to close portions of the prelim. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, and we can supplement with specific exhibits now that we have their final exhibit list, I believe. I'll talk with the prosecution and our team, but I believe we can supplement that.
All right.
Chad Grunander, I'll add on to that. If it is supplemented, Ms. Nestor, it would probably need to be done rather quickly, as the preliminary hearing dates or the previous dates are a week from Monday. And we would like the time to brief that and be on appropriate notice. I would imagine the media would have similar concerns, but so Judge Graff, I'm not entirely sure if we'll be prepared to argue that motion on the dates that are open for Your Honor, but we can work towards that.
And may I add, Your Honor, this is Jeff Gray.
Yes, Mr. Gray.
Regards notice to the Attorney General's office. They may choose or may not choose to respond. They're not required. They're required the particular notice, and we'll be talking with them. If they're satisfied with our response, they may choose to stay out of this at this point, but we still need to consult with them.
I also,
right.
Your Honor, just want to make clear, we don't necessarily, we serve the Attorney General out of an abundance of caution, but we do think since it involves a rule of procedure, it may not really be required to serve the Attorney General under the statute, but we did it just out of an abundance of caution. So I don't want to make it look like we're conceding that notice is required, although we are doing it.
I see.
Certainly our position is that it is required.
All right. Well, I appreciate the parties sharing their views. Well, let's go ahead and tentatively address the motion to close the preliminary hearing, and we'll address that. How does May 19th at 10 a.m. look for the parties?
Your Honor, the defense was planning on being available the whole week for the preliminary hearing, so I feel fairly confident that my team is going to be available on that day.
All right. To the state?
Well, Your Honor.
All right. We'll go ahead and start at 9 a.m. on that day. And just to set the expectations, we'll plan on a 3-hour hearing, so from 9 to 12, and so I would ask that that you're fully prepared to go forward at 9 a.m. And to Ms. Nestor and your team, is it your request that Mr. Robinson be present physically in court?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right.
Your Honor, this is Jeff Hunt. The media will want to be heard on that motion. I believe Mr. Judd is online, and he will be taking the lead on that. I'm not sure of his availability that day.
All right. Mr. Judd?
Hi, Your Honor. I am here. And yes, I'll make myself available that day. I did, without taking any more of the court's time than is necessary, wanted to talk about one small detail. I appreciate the court's ruling saying that under the new order being entered today, a request to cover a hearing would be, submitted 14 days in advance. That would only create problems, I think, with the one we're talking about today.
Right.
I wonder about a request to do that. If the media were to submit that as soon as they could get their ducks in a row collectively, would that be enough for the court in this case?
Yes, and I recognized when I issued, well, when I was drafting the ruling, that the one conflicting date would be this upcoming one. So I would request that the parties file, well, to be fair, until there's a request from the media to cover it, that wouldn't even come into play. Theoretically, if they choose not to file that, that becomes moot. And so for this hearing only, as soon as that's filed, please file anything that you wish to be considered as soon as possible to allow the other sides to reply. So please don't wait till the day before. If it's filed, I would say within 48 hours of the filing of media, the request for electronic media coverage, within 48 hours, parties who wish to file, please do so. Thank you, Mr. Judd. I appreciate you addressing that. The court's obviously going to be flexible about that issue, given the short turnaround.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Michael Burt for Mr. Robinson. Could I raise one issue concerning the court's order on the procedure going forward? Is the court requiring that we be notified of the requests, or do we have to get that from the docket? Given the short amount of time that we'll have to respond, I'm wondering if the court would consider ordering, if it hasn't already done so, that we be provided notice of any requests when it's filed.
Well, wouldn't you be receiving, do you receive notice when the request is filed on the docket?
Only when it's issued by the court, Your Honor. We don't receive notice of the requests.
I see. Well, let's see here. That is a good question, Mr. Burt. I appreciate you asking that. Let me just take a look at what options we may have to address. Well, on the onset, we have the deadline. I mean, we have given the deadline set by the court. There's a timeline in place, and so I would ask the parties to be cognizant and take a look at the docket on the date when that deadline is approaching. So for now, please refer to the docket. If this becomes an issue, please let the court know. But I would ask the parties to be diligent as you have been in the past. And when you see that hit the docket, if you wish to file, you certainly can.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Ms. Nestor. I do have one more clarification. So the motion of the order to show cause, can we not just argue that the same day that we argue, just because of the travel and expense to the county? I'd like to try to do that at the same time. We did file a notice to submit, but we've not waived argument on that.
Let's see here. I wanted to pull up that motion briefly. There's a few things on the docket, so it takes just a little bit to get there.
No worries, Your Honor. I don't anticipate there would be any testimony at that. It would just be argument. So we shouldn't need too much more extra time.
5
All
years
right,
later.
I see. One moment. So what you're saying is you're not requesting an evidentiary hearing. You're simply requesting oral argument. Is that my understanding?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Well, I believe that the procedure is that if I rule on the motion and I grant it, we do need to take an evidentiary hearing because sanctions are being requested. And so I would want to follow the procedure. So it would necessitate an evidentiary hearing, not just oral argument.
That would be my understanding. That would be later. So this is just a hearing to determine whether or not to set the evidentiary hearing is my understanding. So yeah, right. So that would be on a later date.
Okay. Well, we can address oral argument for that, and then the court will make its ruling and take it from there. Obviously, I'm not weighing in either direction. I want to consider everything that's before me, but we'll set the oral argument as well on that same 19th date and address that issue as well.
Thank you, Your
Anything further from the parties?
I
Honor.
don't think
Not at
so.
this time.
All right. Thank you to all parties for being here. This concludes today's hearing, and court is now in recess.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that's interesting. That's I think it's a big win for all of us. The cameras are staying in the courtroom. The recording devices are staying in the courtroom. I think I'm 100% for that. Let's go. They pushed the trial or the preliminary hearing, the evidentiary hearing date back to July 6th through July 10th. That's the week after July 4th. And I think it's a big deal too. That's going to give the defense plenty of time to put their case together and look at the evidence that's being presented against Tyler Robinson so they can build a solid defense against it. So 100%, I think that was good. That was good for we the people. Katie, I saw you thumbs downing. Do you disagree?
Yeah, well, only because, look, I understand that we all have a vested interest in what's going on, but kind of like peeling the layers back right here, I'm like, what was the defense's strategy in terms of removing the cameras and audio and everything else like this? Because, and bear with, if, for example, the theory is he didn't do it, it would put him in a position where he would better be able to negotiate if cameras weren't around, um to say, Look, we all know what's going on here." That's if he did not do it, and so on and so forth. So I don't believe that the defense put that motion forward to protect any potential bias, especially listening to the incompetent judge, God bless him, by saying, um it was actually quite interesting that he really did trip over his feet, where he was saying, "Oh, okay, well, also, we don't want," he was reading out obviously the defense's statement, or, "We don't want there to be um negative, whatever it was, against the prosecution." However, also what I find weird is when an order to show cause is submitted, that's basically like an emergency filing that doesn't get debated on when you navigate that. That should be dealt with then and there. Thank God you told us that, for those that didn't know, such as myself, that the judge was brand new. This was his first ever gig, um, because that was evident. The thing is, in regards, sorry, back to the point of whether the cameras should be in the courtroom or not, I'm on the fence because, again, if it really was a case of the guy was framed or this, that, and the other, the media and so on and so forth, in live streams and whatnot, they're already going to put in restrictions anyway. So I've been reading up to say how he doesn't want his face filmed or so on and so forth. You could hear right in the very beginning when he was addressed, he could barely make a sound. Yeah, I wasn't watching the live stream, and I don't know if you saw his face, but I I
No, they
don't
don't
know.
show his face because they don't want to show him in jail and prejudice,
Right.
make it look
Well,
guilty.
did you hear his audio though? You couldn't. Like he could barely make a sound. So I just think that whether the cameras are in there or not, is a bit of a moot point, because everything can be manipulated and heavily edited or staged. And especially the thing that flagged up immediately was when they were talking about this order to show cause. And I'm talking about this with like first-hand experience. I understand this. I've studied law, yes, in the UK, but I understand a motion for an order to show cause. And then also that should be dealt with immediately because you only do that with an urgent reply. And then when the defense was like, okay, well, we want to know when X, Y, and Z has been filed, not dealt with, but filed, the judge didn't give an answer for any of it, for nothing. All very weird. I don't know who Mr. Gray is, but that also caught my attention. I don't like the way that any of this is being handled. You obviously haven't seen the guy's face. You can barely make out any sound. It's like, no, it all just is peculiar. So, and then also, why are they giving the press and media an opportunity? I know that there's a freedom of journalism and what have you, but again, it's all very surface. And
Utah state law allows for the media to be in the courtroom.
right, but also it's just like I think that they were too heavy on the whole social media side of things, and too relaxed on the press and media.
The judge needs to enforce the rules better. If a cameraman breaks the
Yeah.
rules by pointing the camera at Tyler Robinson's face while he's talking when he knows he's not supposed to, that dude needs to be charged with um,
Yeah,
uh,
I hear what you're saying, but I want to
contempt of
see the
court.
guy's
He needs
face.
contempt of court. He needs to
But
sit in jail. He needs to be fined
I
and hit
want to
with
see the
contempt of
guy's
court.
face. I want to see his face. I don't like
You're
that we're
not,
not.
yeah, but no. The camera was pointed at his face. They were recording. Liam, you keep coming off mic, bro. You got to go down. You got to go down. The cameraman was recording his face, and then he was talking to his attorney, and then the right wing media, or no, I'm sorry, the TP USA adjacent media. I'm talking about what's his name? Shit, who's that
Murdoch?
guy? Huh?
Ben Shapiro?
No, not Ben Shapiro.
Murdoch?
What?
Oh,
No,
TMZ?
no,
Oh,
TPUSA, Charlie Kirk show. What the hell's his
oh,
name?
I know who you're
Anyways,
talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
anyways, my point is that they were running with the story that he was like confessing in the courtroom to his attorney and laughing about Charlie Kirk assassination, completely rewriting what he said based on the movement. Like they were using like some foreign lip reader to try and ascertain what he
What?
said,
No,
and then
that
they
that has no
published
legal
it.
standing.
They published it saying that he confessed in the courtroom. So after that, the defense rightfully complained about it, as they
Right.
should. But when the cameraman continued to break the rules, the judge should have enforced a
Yes,
contempt of court order, right, to
absolutely. I
scare
couldn't
them
agree
into not
more.
doing that
Yeah.
again.
Right, but he didn't do that. The
But I
guy
don't
was like
know
a
if you
schmuck.
have heard. I don't know if you've heard. Oh, Jack. That's who it was. It was Jack. Um, I don't know if you've heard, but that judge kind of sounds like he's a vegan or something, right? Doesn't he sound a little
A
low
s-
key?
skinny jeans soy boy.
He does sound like a soy boy, does he not?
Look, at the end of the day, as somebody, again, myself, that's navigated law, that's about to embark on my New York State bar studies, there is no way in heck that I would even put myself in said position because, as a judge or anyone in the legal field, has a responsibility. This isn't an opportunity to, big ball it. You have a responsibility so that the whole case is tried fair, just, and reasonably, and he is absolutely underqualified. You could just hear it even from like his statements. He didn't even know the case law, and you're just like, oh my god, answer the question, judge. Just answer the question, or say, I will, I will put this in the order or the motion. But the fact is that this is why they harped on with this order to show cause, because an order to show cause is an emergency filing that needs to be dealt with then and there. And it wasn't. And it's just like, this is a clown show. It's terrible. But I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs in terms of Obviously, I don't have all of the evidence in front of me and so on and so forth, but I just believe that if this is going to be open to the press and media and to the general public, which it should be, I believe that it should be a glass, transparent room in terms of evidence, filings, everything unsealed. Because also, didn't you hear like they had sealed certain documents and so on and so forth? It's like why? But that was the prosecution, not the defendant. They were sealing stuff, but why? You know, I'm going on a deep dive, diligent. I will let everybody else talk, but this is oh, no wonder you've been busy. Thank you.
Thank you. What's up, Maze? We're gonna pivot to the UFO stuff here in a second. Go ahead, Miss Lou.
Well, I'm vegetarian and I've never heard anybody speak so slowly about nothing in my life. Okay. This guy
Miss
is
Lou.
absolutely, I don't know what he's eating, but the point is, we talk about bias. This case already has so much press and internet and God knows how many sources and bias. What did he say? 64% already believe that Tyler's guilty. I mean, let alone what the DOJ was doing from the very get-go. If you want to talk about bias,
Wait.
sir,
Where did you see 64% believe Tyler's guilty? Was that something that?
it was stated during this hearing, but I don't know who said it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't
I
know what
heard it.
poll they were citing. I
I
mean,
heard
I have
it, but
not.
I don't know what
I
poll. I
have
don't know
not.
what
I
source.
have not seen an overwhelming. Yeah, I would need to see the stats on that. I didn't hear that
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
So
yeah.
no, yeah.
I'm just saying
I
that
don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I don't
I
know
don't
anybody
either.
who believes he's the killer. I don't know
But
one
here's
person. The only people I know that are saying that are like the ideologues, right? Like the tribalists, the cultists. Like those
but my
are.
point, Diligent, is just stating it already sets up an impression. These are the kinds of things that are impressions that are not real. And that's what I'm trying to say here. It's the bias is incredible. And I don't know how they're going to get a jury pool, a valid, fair jury pool that's going to be able to give this guy a fair trial. That's my big 64K, and I'll land with that.
Before you go, or before we pivot, I was gonna ask you, Diligent, have you spoke to his grandmother recently, or Tyler Robinson's grandmother?
She's listening right now.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, she's. I sent her. I give her updates on the trial. Hi Debbie, if you're listening. I give her updates on the trial, and I don't share anything that she asked me not to share. So, but she's definitely keeping tabs on what's going on.
Well,
Mhm.
I'm sure she's happy that you're giving it a voice, because without you covering it, I don't really know anybody else who's doing this kind of work. So thanks, Diligent.
Thank you.
Don't forget, guys, repost the space, bottom right hand corner. I'd love to see Maze on the stage with us. How are you doing, Maze?
I am doing great. Thank you. I'm putting together a file to be able to kind of go through for the UFO disclosure because there's so much. And so I'm trying to get like I don't know. You'll see. You'll see what I come up with, but it'll help us through the process. I'm so excited. I mean, yeah, this thing was cool too. Thanks, Tilly. I do appreciate you covering it because I think that it'll get lost in the dust. But I'm a little too excited about the whole UFO shit, so I can't, really be as excited about this. But anyway, I'm here for it.
Well, I am just changing the title. I'm not. I don't know why you're excited. I haven't seen anything that's like mind blowing. I was in Red Panda space earlier, and I mean, they have been like, I guess they're probably jaded, right? Because they get rug pulled all the time. Look at the JFK files were trash. The the Martin Luther King files were trash. The Russiagate files were trash. The Epstein files, those were okay, only because of an act of Congress, not because of this administration, right? The people had to pass a law to get those released, and they still kept more than half of them, and we have no arrests, right? So, I mean, count me a little jaded, but they haven't really delivered on anything as far as accountability and transparency goes. We have a video of what looks to be a compass, right? Like a North Star compass, tracking all over a video, and they're saying that it's an angel, and it just seems like more bullshit to me. I'm sorry, but it's just what it seems like. I'm not really buying it. What are you excited about, Maze?
First of all, it gives us more information, regardless of whether you buy it or not. I do think it's interesting because if you've been trying to put a puzzle together for a while, I mean, there's certain things that are actually released in this that kind of validate shit that we thought were fake and gay previously. But overall, though, what is it that they're doing this for? I don't believe in the whole distraction bullshit. I hate when people use that. They're overdoing it now. I mean, I get some things are distraction, but certain things can be happening simultaneously at the same time, right? Like they could very well be preparing for some sort of, event in the future by using these disclosures. They've been ramping up for quite some time. You and I were together in July, when they did that shit 2 years ago. We and I think that this has kind of given us more information. All right, some of these videos though are pretty freaky. Okay, did you see the little walking windmills while they were floating? I don't know. Did you see they were going across the screen and they flip back the other way? It's fun to kind of explore those, but overall, like it's a mystery to unpack. That's what it is for me. I don't think that they're disclosing in terms of like really trying to be transparent.
So it sounds like you went the long way to say it was bullshit.
What I'm saying is that it's everything that comes from them is bullshit. I don't believe anything that they fucking tell me. Like zero, zilch. But I do think whatever they put out, it is additional information, like to sort through. I definitely think that there's mixed in like real with not, just to kind of be confusion, but we can sift through it. I mean, I don't know. Like I don't think that
May,
there's
it's kind
anything
of like Epstein. We sift through it forever and nothing really
I
goes
didn't
down.
say forever. This is just a space covering the disclosure. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, what's
Look,
the
y'all could be
disclosure?
little prickly little,
What
grumpy
what
smarts all you want.
disclosure? What disclosure? This is what I'm saying. Like what disclosure?
That's the name of it. I'm not saying they're disclosing. Jeez, I don't know. Like we sat for how long did we go through the Epstein shit for? It doesn't matter. I'm not saying that this is going to make some sort of substantial difference in anything. I don't like that's not I don't want to I can't just sit here and know that there's a whole shit over there that and not sift through it. I mean, and because you're doing a
I mean, I'm
space.
looking through it. Look, let's go to the website. Let me see here. Let me see. Um,
I'm surprised you didn't upload it into Grok like you did with the other stuff, just to break it
I
all
mean,
down.
I tried like downloading it, and I downloaded a bunch, but I just kind of like
You're
we had
over it.
I had to cover this hearing, and so I stopped. But I was downloading the files, but I'm streaming, and I didn't want it to mess with the internet.
We did find out Howard Lutnick was lying.
We already knew Howard Lutnick was lying. What is new, right? I haven't seen anything new. Did you see the photos of the objects from the lunar landing, right? From Buzz Aldrin, and um, they weren't very convincing. Like they're very small. I'm gonna pull it up here. We'll go through the files. I was looking for people to post these, but I just went through my two top UFO guys, and they have not posted shit really on the UFO stuff. It's like okay, whatever. But let's go. Let me pull it up here.
Diligent, I have a really quick question. Don't feel like you have to answer it right this second because we're on the UFOs. However, of all of the people on this planet, why that guy? Like, why him?
Why what?
Tyler, was it Robertson? Why him? Of all the people on the planet, why him? What did he know? What did he not know?
It was a family thing as well. It wasn't just him.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Not yet.
Okay, let's see. Where's the link?
So wait, now the world has aliens?
They
Confirmed?
have proof that
No,
was a
no,
They've always been
no,
there.
CGI looking, I don't know, UFO thing.
no.
Oh,
I
like
don't think
the
the
blue sky
UFOs are
thing?
the aliens. I think the aliens are separate from that. I think whatever is these machines, like that's man-made, I think. But
I'm
I
confused.
don't know. That's their goal.
Well, if there's
Next
aliens in my
question.
backyard, I am not ready to meet them just yet. So please, just for the record, if anyone in the night sky can hear
Don't
me,
worry, Katie.
They
They're all in
can't be any
Hollywood.
worse than the scientists
you're
that run our
absolutely
country.
right,
I'll tell
Miss
you that.
Lou. They are. They're all in Hollywood, especially Simon Cowell. Definitely an alien there.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see me scrolling through. I mean, they're mostly black dots. Like there's no. It's the same.
Bro, the
Like
floating windmills. What the hell were those? Actually,
they look
hold
like
on.
helicopters, Maze. Think
Those were
about it.
helicopters?
I'm looking at an object right now. If you're on YouTube, you can. Here's what if you want to do: go to my YouTube channel, go to the live stream, and put it on mute, and then hit the picture in picture, and then you can actually have the video I'm looking at over this.
I'm
It's
on
like a
your
video
live
space.
stream, but I don't know how to
So
do the picture on picture.
okay, well, I don't know how to
No,
set
don't
you
worry
up with
about
it.
it. Don't worry about it. No, I can see Diligent Denizen, and then I can see you in your red top.
It's a shirt. It's on the top. Women wear
Potato,
tops.
potato.
Okay. My point is, right, if you look, like this looks like a helicopter. Why is this it is clearly a helicopter, and it is part of the files. Like you can see that as a helicopter. How do you know the windmill isn't just an angle where a helicopter looks like a windmill? These are this is clearly fab. Look at this one. Come on, man.
I'm on your YouTube and I can't see
This is
anything.
a
Oh, there we
this
go.
is this is a composite sketch. They're posting a sketch of a UFO as if it's like evidence, right? These pictures, oh, there we go. There's the still. There's the the angel looking one, if you will. I'll look for a
Damn
better
it.
one.
Hold on. I'm making a coffee and you're going through everything without me. Hold on, let me go grab my laptop.
And I can't see this on YouTube, and I'm on your live stream with my volume down on it, but I just see you, the live space, and then Diligent Denizen. I wonder if anyone else
What?
can see it. I
Yeah, they
can't.
can see it. The chat can see it.
Oh.
Diligent
You
Denizen.
could.
Diligent Denizen.
That was funny. You could pin it. Why don't you pin the live stream post to your profile? Even though
I
the
just
people on
reposted it.
stage.
I just reposted it.
Okay, good. Oh, you summoned Reptile. Dude, look, she did the whole diligent
Diligent
denizen
Denizen.
three
Diligent Denizen.
times, and boom,
Diligent
here
Denizen.
comes Reptile. That was fucking magical. Get on up here, Reptile. Let me send him the invite.
Threw him a mic. Let's hope he joins.
I did.
Oh, he's
Sorry.
laughing at us.
This is just. It seems like bullshit. I'm sorry. It seems like
What?
bullshit.
All of it? Or just, you're just selective hearing? Like, what do you mean?
Show me.
Okay, now we have both the skeptics. The hardest skeptics on the whole app are coming to this UFO. Let's explore what they're trying to say space, you know? Yeah, I'm talking about you too, hit slap. But it'll be fun nonetheless. I think we can just go and explore it. But you guys call this shit primary evidence. This is primary evidence. This is when.
This is not, hold on. This is not primary evidence.
Really?
Primary evidence is corroborated, right? This is something the government's putting out.
I
I
thought,
mean,
okay.
I'm not saying it is not conclusive, right? It's primary evidence, but a grainy photo from 1950 that it's a black dot in the sky. What does that prove exactly?
I can see envelopes.
Envelopes?
Uncommon News on YouTube says, "Here's some CGI aliens. Now turn in your guns." That's about right. That's what happened to Australia, I think.
The dark journalist says they're showing us 1950s bits and expecting us to know that we're, have all the
And
information.
some of this stuff was already public. I'm seeing stuff like, look at these are newspaper clippings about reports of UFOs and fake saucers. Like you can see it right there. It's like what's going on here?
I want to believe, Diligent.
They're fake.
Sally, no.
This is what Nietzsche was talking about when he was saying nihilism. You know what I'm saying? People just don't believe in shit. Like they just don't believe in anything anymore. Like there's just too much of everything, right? It's like nothing's real.
I'm gonna
Everything's
need an alien. I'm gonna need to see an alien out in public, and I'm gonna need somebody to cut its arm off and watch it bleed.
Oh my God! This is gonna cause
let me
war.
just
Don't cause war on us.
for the record,
You do not come in
extraterrestrial.
peace.
For the record, extraterrestrial, not anything real in Minecraft, right? Nothing real. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely need to see it bleed before I would believe that it was real.
How do you know
Today's,
that aliens bleed?
I'm
yeah.
just saying, like I
Yeah,
need
what
to
if
see
they're
it
made of
personally.
light and they don't have
I would need
blood?
to see it
They're not
personally.
flesh.
Here's a new
Yeah.
word, extraterrestrial unreal.
Look, these are articles. This is why I can't stand these releases. These are articles. They're not even anything. It's just bullshit.
They're real.
The other day on YouTube, I saw a 9-year-old, like a 9-year-old boy. He had this high-speed camera, and he was filming an insect, and you could see the veins in the wings of the insect with this high-speed camera. Every fucking alien video looks like it was shot in 1920. Everyone's walking around with 4K, 8K, 150 billion K pixel resolution. Can I just get one video? I don't even want to see someone bleed. I just want to see one video where it's not grainy, where it's not zoomed in. Everyone's got a fucking iPhone. Nobody can get me one video, really. I
I have
cannot
a
get one
question for
4K
you,
video.
Hitch. I have a question for you, Hitch. Do you
Yes.
think that it could potentially be the radiation or the electromagnetic frequency that is doing something and distorting the video, or do you think that that wouldn't affect it?
I think that's very, very convenient post hoc reasoning. That is to say, when we can't find evidence for something, we invent. Not you, I'm not attacking you, I love you, mate. But I hear people say this all the time. When they can't find the evidence for something, they'll make up something. Oh, it's solar flares. Oh, they've got this radiation thing. Oh, they can modify the light between the vision of your eyeballs and so, I mean, if true, yes, but that's post hoc reasoning. It's after the fact, making something up to justify why we can't see them. There's no
Do you
evidence
Hitch,
for
I
think
hear
that.
it
that Hitch, I
justifies?
hear that
I
Steven
think.
Spielberg has it, all the answers in his new movie.
Steven
Oh.
Spielberg is a funny man. I
E.T.
agree. Go ahead.
home.
Say again,
Do
mate.
do you think that
I
when
was
you
gonna
go
say.
oh sorry, go Maze.
Well, I just have a quick little. I think that this creates the need. We have now identified a need for all you techies out there to create cameras that can withstand electromagnetic frequency and radiation, whatever it is that's emitted over the crop circles. Okay, they're able to measure this. If they
Maze, you're
can,
not allowed to smoke weed before you co-host Night
Uh-huh.
Cases anymore.
bro, I
Don't
haven't
blame
smoked
it
weed in
on
a
the
long time.
weed.
I
What
just
the
haven't had
heck?
coffee yet. This is me, minus coffee. Give me 5 minutes, okay? Let me chug this shit.
It's 6 at night. How are you just having coffee
I
for
was
the
just
first
joking.
time
What are you
today?
talking about? Some phone that blocks the phone operates on electromagnetic waves, right? Like near field communication, NFC. Whenever people pay for shit with their phones at a kiosk, at a store, it requires
I'm talking
electromagnetic
about like
waves.
the alien UFO. Like there's
You don't
there's
even have
something
any evidence
thwarting
that's
it.
a thing.
It
Why
was
would
a
you try to?
question. First of all, I was I was just
Why would we
posing.
develop? It's just, it's like you're giving the government excuses. It's like you're running, like when you think like that, where you're like, oh, the reason why the pictures are all grainy is because you're supplying the government with an excuse for people to believe that the aliens project some kind of radiation that prevents devices throughout history, even like even film cameras, which don't use any kind of electricity unless they're using a flash, they just capture lights, right, and imprint it on film. um there is there's just, come on, man,
Maze, you
come
an
on.
alien?
I
Maze, are you an
wasn't giving
alien? Are
anybody.
you
First of
I
all,
think I
defending?
think I now
I was
believe that Maze is a gray alien
She's
who
not a
wanted
Yes,
to
gray
run
alien.
cover
first of
Maze.
for
all, I'm a
Maze
brethren
is an
Middle
and the
alien.
Eastern
reptile hybrids.
You wish Maze was an
Palladian.
alien.
That's
Then
what they're
we'd have our
called.
problem solved. Hey,
Can we
What
get
do-
an
listen.
ancestry?
what do what do they use to film ghosts? So maybe aliens are just ghosts.
Can we get an
Well,
ancestry test on Maze? I want to see how much actual alien DNA she has. I want to
hell
see a
no.
space.
They keep the data. If they didn't, I would totally do it.
It's
You're the
exactly what
DNA
an alien would
strand.
say. It's
You're the
exactly
DNA
what an
strand.
alien would say. I
You're
don't
the
want to
People
give
alien.
my
just
DNA.
didn't people just take a tour of space? So surely they would have bumped into one. No? Or is
They
Maze.
that
had a
silly?
street dance with them. Yeah.
But you would think that if they were out there.
Okay, riddle us this one, Batman. We talk about electromagnetic. The Gulf Stream is shifting in a big way. Anybody got any answers for that one? Do we think it's aliens? Yeah, and that's a fact. It is shifting.
Well, the strait is closed, so just it's all
Are we going to blame the Iranians on the shifting of the Gulf
no.
Stream?
The Gulf Stream, the magnetic fields have been shifting gradually every, I think, so many thousand years it shifts. So it's gradually shifting. It could be, yeah, maybe it's aliens. Aliens are coming. You're right, miss.
Yeah, my
Maze
Putting
has
son
it.
asked
gone
when
very
the
quiet.
dinosaurs are coming back.
Maze has gone very quiet since I talked about her
She's
being an
digging through the
alien,
files
She's
trying to
having
making
find
her
alien
coffee.
DNA. What
she's
planet
digging
are you
through the
from, Maze?
files trying to find something convincing. It's
You know,
she's
I,
struggling.
I've always been suspicious of Maze when she was using those magical sound bells. That they weren't of this planet.
No, she was calling the Harajukus.
Right.
I've been
It was
watching Battle
something.
of Fate on Disney.
Yeah.
That was
Now
definitely
we're on to you,
something.
Maze. We're on to you.
Every time Maze says Anunnaki, my phone screen flashes on and off. That's all I'm
Leave
saying.
my maze alone.
I
She's
used to learn Anunnaki
a
yesterday.
good girl.
They had
I
sex with those other
appreciate
people.
her being open to different theories because sometimes it's like the truth is actually stranger than fiction. So, like, does it really hurt us in the long run to at least just give it a try, even if it's just like a
Preach.
minute? I
Harmony,
don't know.
she's using mind powers. She's using her
Oh
telepathic
no!
alien mind powers on you. Don't be fooled. Come back to the light, Harmony.
Oh dear.
Now
No,
I go
May,
back to
shout
those
out to
sound
you. I
bells.
love you. Yeah, but
We
that's
love,
what
we
the
love Maze.
Battle of Fate on the show I've been
We
All right,
love
watching.
you
Maze.
guys
She's
are
not an
triggering
alien.
the Maze Simp army. They're rallying. Here's Zensei.
Oh my
You got to
Come
be
god.
back,
careful.
Harmony. Come back. Come back, Harmony.
Zenzei's a G, man. He
I
knows so
am
much about this stuff.
hypnized by
You
maze
know,
love.
diligent.
Ooh.
I'd like to think I'm in your simp army a little bit too, at least. Come on, give me some credit, brother.
I ain't seen
Gay,
you in a minute, bro.
gay.
I ain't seen you in a minute. You've been AFK. I don't know.
Go.
I did tell you,
Diligent,
I
this
did
is
tell you the
beautiful.
second they had aliens provable and grockable that I'd be on your stage. I thought it'd be next year, but here I am, right?
Whose voice is this?
So this is
Famous.
so we're going to, no, it's not famous. That is Zensei. He is our token ASMR speaker.
And
Oh,
We
UFO,
have,
token UFO
I
speakers.
yeah,
followed you.
I
token
want that voice
UFO.
for a commercial.
He's
All right,
great.
so
He sounds like the Quiet Storm radio host. You know what I mean? It's the Quiet
Grok, I
Storm.
need you to tell
Alien
me what
hypnosis.
Grok, tell me what the most convincing files are from the latest UFO drop from the US government. Give me the file name so I can find them on the website.
The latest UFO drop is the first tranche released today on war.gov. It's about 160 to 162 files, mostly old FBI docs, NASA Apollo photos, military videos, and reports, with more coming on a rolling basis. Nothing shows clear alien tech or craft. It's mostly blurry orbs, lights, and eyewitness stories, like past releases. The most discussed convincing one is the 2023 Western U.S. Multi-Witness Orb event. Multiple federal law enforcement agents independently reported orange mother orbs launching smaller red orbs, a glowing sphere near a rock pinnacle described as looking like the Eye of Sauron, and other odd sightings. One Pentagon note calls it among the most compelling in AARO's holdings due to the witnesses' credibility and the anomalous details. Look for the file named Western_US_event_5.08.2026.pdf or similar Western US event slides. Other standouts people are talking about: Apollo 12 and Apollo 17 NASA photos, images showing unidentified objects or dots, sometimes in triangular formation above the lunar horizon or surface. Search the NASA section for Apollo 12 and 17 files or photos. Older FBI files, like the series 65_HS1 8342 28961 62 HQ 83894 section X, various sections and serials. These are historical UAP related records. Head to the site, browse by agency, NASA, FBI, DoD, or search those terms. The site's new, so file names might vary slightly. Most of it is unresolved sightings with mundane explanations possible, but the multi-agent 2023 report is getting the most attention right now. Check it yourself and decide.
Brock, scan X and tell me what files are causing the most buzz.
The Apollo 17 files and the Western U.S. late 2025 infrared orb images are getting the most buzz on X. People keep posting screenshots of the 3 dots in triangular formation from the Apollo 17 lunar photo. The government even opened a formal case on it, saying preliminary analysis suggests it could be a physical object. Look for NASA-UAP-VM6, Apollo 17, 1972, or the Apollo 17 photo transcript files. Right behind it is the super hot orb chase from late 2025. A senior intel official and others saw this hot orb near a government site, then it took off faster than their helicopter could follow, with a swarm of lights. That one's in the FBI 302 interview files, often called the late 2025 senior intel official statement, or similar. The Big FBI Historical Series 65-HS1 834228961 62 HQ 83894 section X, especially sections 2, 3, 10, and serials like 130/153 are also blowing up. Lots of old eyewitness reports and some wild claims in there that people are screenshotting. Head to war.gov/UFO and grab those by name. Most of it's still just lights and orbs, but those 3 are what everyone's sharing and arguing about right now.
Yeah, brother. There's been a picture released. I don't know if you saw it. It was like 3 lights. It looked like on the lunar surface. It was blown up on war.gov/UFO. I don't know if you saw that, Diligent.
I'm on war.gov right now.
Scroll to the right. I think it's like
Search for
5 or 6
Apollo
times.
17
You'll see
right
that.
there on the site. That's the one getting posted the most on X. The NASA photo showing 3 dots in a triangular formation above the lunar surface. People are losing their minds over it because the government actually opened a case file on it. Just type Apollo 17 into the search bar. You'll see the photo and the accompanying report. That's the current main buzz file.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been off of X for a while, and I just came back recently. But you know, I'm always about your spaces, brother. And you always are. You're one of the top hosts. I have tremendous respect.
I just give you a
Don't
hard time,
glaze
bro.
him after he called you my simp. You know what I'm
Haha,
saying?
you got
Hey,
me. Fair play.
really?
What are you
Oh,
actually seeing on the site? Anything catch your eye?
hold on, Josh. 1 second. Let me. So look, Dilly, I sent you my dashboard. I also put it in the comments. If you guys want to try that out, you can search in there. It's got everything kind of really organized for navigation. and it shows you like where they happened. I mean, it's pretty dope. Anyway, do you want to put that on the screen on your YouTube? I'm gonna go to your YouTube now, and then we can all explore it together.
I am on my this is a Grok account.
What's that
I
mean?
can't pull your message up on the screen from here.
But I also sent it to you via DM. See, I was
I
thinking.
can't pull up your messages on the
Oh,
screen
any
from here.
messages? Okay.
Yeah, send it to Grok if his DMs are open.
How do I send? What do you mean send it to Grok?
DM Grok, the Grockian on the stage.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey, for a little levity, have you guys seen the movie Fly Me to the Moon with Scarlett Johansson? They actually set up a whole stage, to shoot the moon on a set because, we're in a big race for the Russians. And what if the moon thing screws up? They still have to show that we landed on the moon, whether we did or didn't, or if something happened. Well, a cat gets in the shot, okay? So they have to go. They start to air it. And the guy says, there's a freaking cat in the shot. That's not on the moon. Cut. Oh, I mean, it's so funny. And the director's this gay boy who gets told by the CIA, he says, I'm not sure I want this assignment. And the guy says, well, he's CIA, and if you don't shoot it, they'll kill you.
He was probably there just to get probed.
Oh my
Oh God. Dilly,
good
Grok doesn't
one,
follow me,
diligent.
so
But
have it
anyway, if you
DM me
haven't seen
first.
the movie, do see it because
I have so I'm using Grok to have it give me the relevant links. So here we go.
Sensei, I think that you need to open a YouTube channel and you need to read bedtime stories because I would fall asleep every single night very calmly.
Me and Maze used to
So
do spaces like that. God, Dilly.
Yeah, I used to sleep to
so if
them.
you look on the screen, right? These are what they are saying. You have to get the YouTube is a little delayed. So if you hear me talking and I'm saying that I'm looking at something, you're watching on YouTube, give it a few seconds. It's about 10 seconds behind, I think. So these are the pictures from the lunar landing, right? Where they're saying that they saw, and I just want you to see, there's these 3 dots way back here. You see them? That's the original size that they recorded. And then they blew them up and projected them right here. So that's what they said. These could be anything. They could be artifacts. They could be light. They could be asteroids. I mean, they could literally be anything. Um, Again, very low resolution, very diluted, very back there. Like this is not compelling to me, Maze. You know?
Well, I mean, there's a lot there. I'm still going through it. It's not compelling in the way of like, make me a believer. I guess my lens is different. I'm looking at this to see what other information this provides me. And this could connect dots that I don't even know how to really articulate yet, but I've barely scraped the surface. But I have looked into a lot of the other things like Project Blue Book, like Roswell, all these other things that they've covered up. I'm trying to see what's in here that overlaps, matches, connects dots. I mean, I get it. I can imagine like a normie being like, what is this? But but you're not a normie in the sense that like you listen to mainstream, but you're kind of like, what is this doing for me? Because you don't really have the background in this field or area or should I say interest in it to have been researching it for as long as I have. So I think what's interesting is just the patterns that might emerge, what it tells us. It's not necessarily whether they're real or not. That's not something we're going to get from out there. Definitely not from the government. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then why are we excited if we don't think that what the government's telling us is
Because
real?
they're using real shit to deceive, right? You like this is the interdimensional chess, okay? Not Donald Trump doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I like this is they're using the real stuff to deceive, okay? And so there's something there that I'm investigating, if that makes sense. But I think you're looking at it like through the lens of, what are they going to disclose? Obviously, like it's not impressive and remarkable and like Hitch Slap
no, Maze,
says.
this is the Twilight Zone, is what you're saying. This is
But
really the Twilight Zone.
yeah, and I can't send you my link because Grok doesn't follow me. But if you look at the dashboard, it does make navigating this a little bit easier. Just saying.
What
So
did you
why would
create
they
it? Go
release it
ahead.
now?
Yeah, I created a cool dashboard. It's on my website, and it's just the link is in for everybody else that wants to go look at it. It's in the purple pill, and for Dilly, if he wants to look at it, I can DM Grok
The
whenever.
chat says, I need to smoke more listening to Maze, LOL.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
post it
getting
to Grok.
hundreds as I'm talking because everybody, all of my peoples are sending me hundreds like, yeah, Maze, tell him that's right. There, take that.
Maze, send a message to Grok, not DM Grok. So just go to the profile and leave a message.
There's no, oh, you mean like on the
Yeah, just make a post to Grok.
But Diligent and Maze
I
and
wish we
everyone.
could, Sacred, I see you down there, bro. I wish you'd come up. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I wonder what the we're not having a debate. We're not having a flat earth debate, but I would love to hear his perspective on this. Because he thinks, you know, like, how do you explain the moon pictures?
But why do you think they're doing it now?
I'll weigh in on that question. It's a really good question, actually, Katie. And just to say, because I see the dynamic here, but I think Diligent is the king of logic and prove it and, making sure you get myopic. And I think Maze is like the zoom out queen. And I think there is actually a synergistic energy. I don't think anybody has to be at odds or anything about this. I think both approaches are useful and practical. But I think what's happening here, right? Is the UFO files, is it a distraction? I think what's true is what we know, what we can prove. We can prove that we're dealing with satanic pedophiles, right? That believe in reversalism. How do we know that? The Epstein files, right? The Moloch illusions. The Moloch is this old druidic god, right? The Phoenicians would also practice this where they would sacrifice children to this being. And so there's some demonology involved in that. And if you don't believe in that, well, these trillionaires, movers and shakers do. And so I think there's a spiritual aspect to that. And to move it to UFOs, and some people want to conflate the two, including Vice President J.D. Vance. I think to conflate the two is to believe in an either or paradigm rather than an and both. I think that just like humans can sometimes be demonic, and some humans can be very angelic. I think some of these forces, if they're NHI, right, non-human intelligence, that maybe some of them are demonic, or maybe some of them are, good. And so I think we need to leave room for that. I think as far as this, I've been in this field 23 years now, going up on 24. Is this a distraction? Everything, to my point, everything about who you are by these reversalists is a distraction. You are far more powerful than you can even imagine. They want to tell you that you're nothing. They want to tell you. They want to put you in almost like a Plato's cave analogy. Nothing's out there for 70 years. No such thing as UFOs. No such thing as aliens. Every single anthropological person talking about those from heaven come to earth, Anunnaki, throughout time, every single culture, ubiquitous on the planet, are dumb and stupid, and we are superior. And this type of Plato's cave analogy means, you're staring at the cave wall, and there's a whole world out there, but you don't believe it. And you just have to turn around. And we've been told there's no world out there for 70 years, creating a cognitive dissonance, right? And so now these reversalists use that to put trauma on our psyche, to answer your question, Katie, and get us amnesic because of how much they're just dumping on us one after the other. Here's Epstein, here's UFOs. Why now? Well, Epstein came out with Prince Andrew right before COVID, if you remember. And now we got a hantavirus coming up. Could it be COVID part 2? And now they're going to drown out these revelations. They believe in revelation of the method. They're into demonology. They understand human psyche. They're social engineers. And so they can hit us with all this. They've already turned the page on Epstein with the Iran war. How easy would it be to turn the page on these UFO tranche dumps with hantavirus? So easy. And with this UFO, by the way, how quickly did they turn the page on 3i Atlas? That moved, changed colors 4 times, switched directions. Oh, just a comet. Oh, just a comet. Crazy anomalous comet. And now, by the way, there are unidentified flying objects that move on their own. And so we need to look at that and many other things through a different lens. That's all I have to say on this, Diligent.
Um, I mean, again, I'm open minded to a certain degree. Probably, I just need evidence. If you guys are watching YouTube right now, right? I have the video. This is probably one of the ones that's getting pushed the hardest because They're saying that it's an angel. It's the thing that looks like a map compass, and it has 8 points on it. Now, Anna Polina Luna posted a picture of the Nephilim or Seraphim, the angel creature, that has in the visage, it has wings um, that are posed as points, and it has 6 points, and then it has a bunch of kind of bracelet looking um, cylinder loops, right, with eyes all over them. And she was comparing it to this object in this video. Now, I want you to look at this. You can see, right? This is a ruin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So the object or the visage that she shared earlier has 6 points. So there's a conflict there, a discrepancy there. But this object, it has a chemtrail behind it. So in the video, it's moving unlike anything that we've observed as far as um, air travel capabilities. Like it seems to be breaking the laws of physics with how fast it turns, the directions to which it turns. It seems to not be adhering to gravity. But then if you watch, it has a chemtrail behind it. You see that? See, there's a chemtrail. It leaves this exhaust trail, is what it is, an exhaust trail from its propulsion. Well, are you telling me that this thing can break the laws of physics, but it still has to burn fuel? What's going on there? It doesn't make any sense. Um,
If you want, I can answer that as far as esoteric intelligence.
Go ahead.
I'll post this again. If you look at my page, it's like a million years ago. They had different chemtrails, if you will, that were streaking across the Earth at far too lengthy of a pace, right? Because these things dissipate, they say, in about 15 to 20 minutes. And yet this was streaking across the planet, quite a bit. And there's imagery of this, and I'll post it for you. And again, we have this Bill Gates geoengineering. You have Clapper, a former head of the CIA, talking about this aerosolized injection spraying. They claim climate change, but what we're seeing is heavy metals. What we're seeing is an attempt to block out the sun. But is this a human endeavor? Do humans want to block out the sun, the very thing that gives us life force? And why these heavy metals that come down, and we understand Alzheimer's on the rise, and I think a big contributing factor, if you just look it up, any medical journal will tell you, the Alzheimer is heavy metal intake. And this gets into food, it gets into water. When you aerosolize and spray it, right, it gets into your air condition, blows into your house. And so a lot of these things, if inhaled, do have effects. Who knows what's really being sprayed? But what I can say is
This is conjecture. Give me a break. This
this
is
whole plan,
fucking a correlation with no causation. This is complete conjecture, no? There's heavy metals in the air. That's why Alzheimer's going up. Is
they
it
say
serious?
they say
Is
barium.
this a
They
joke?
say
Is this satire? What's
They
going on?
say they say barium's in it. Well, why would they put barium up there? Why would they put heavy metals? Last time I checked, that's not something you want in your body, regardless of whether you believe there's a connection between that and Alzheimer's. So people do believe in detoxing heavy metals. Would you agree with that? And so I don't necessarily think it's the best thing. Again, do I know why? No. Or do I know what's being sprayed? No. This is what they're telling me is being sprayed. They say barium, aluminum. This is coming from the former CIA director, right? Clapper. Okay. And he was, by the way, in the released UFO Age of Disclosure video, right? Last year. Came out in fall of last year, winter. And so, he and, by the way, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and they're coming out with this. And then here it is, the tranche of information. And we are seeing chemtrails, contrails, right? All I'm saying is if these things are doing it, we have to ask the question, what is the relationship? And I think Hitchcock would have a good answer for his speculation on this, between these things and the government. Are we just to believe the
You
government
didn't
is this
answer
God's
Diligent's
best?
question. How are they? Why is there propulsion if they're so advanced? You didn't answer his question.
Why is there propulsion? I don't think it is a
He asked you a
propulsion.
question. He said, "Why?
Yeah,
How? If they're
yeah.
so advanced,
My
why are
answer
they
to that,
burning fuel?"
if I could give the answer. I don't think it's a fuel contrail. I think that's a misinterpretation. I think this is a released gas, a released substance by this craft, and that we are mistaking it for, in our human eyes, right? We're personifying it, so to speak. We're projecting our understanding of propulsion onto it. Because we don't understand the nature of the purpose that these things are there. And it's not put out there. And that's the only thing the government is omitting. They are not telling us the relationship between authority, humans in authority, and this phenomena. But we do hear from ancient Sumerians about the Anunnaki, those from heaven come to earth. We do hear about the ancient South American people speaking of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, flying down in these ancient vimanas, according to the ancient Indian people, one of the oldest cultures on the planet as far as record keeping, etc., is saying, and even having schematics in the Vedic texts.
Do you
of
agree
these
this is all
phenomena.
conjecture? Everything you said is just conjecture, no?
Well, these are provable faiths, right? Interpreted as
No,
mythology.
you said that the stuff coming out of the
Oh,
alien ships is not propulsion. It's a special barrier, the aluminum, whatever metal dust that's giving people
We're
Alzheimer's.
attributing
That's
it
all
to
conjecture.
propulsion because
yeah,
the evidence that we have suggests that propulsion leaves exhaust trails.
correct,
We're using Occam's razor, right? It's
correct.
what you're actually going against what the evidence suggests, right? Like that's why he's saying it's conjecture.
No
You're saying you
problem, no
think that it's
problem.
dispersing something intentionally. Do you have any, like, at least we have
Yeah, yeah,
precedent
yeah. The only,
to
yeah,
suggest that propulsion leaves exhaust trails, right?
right,
There's
right,
records of that. Do
right.
you have records of aliens dispersing stuff into the air intentionally and not having a propulsion trail?
No, I don't have record of any of this. There's nothing I have on my person. All I can go by was what the government is telling me. And the prevailing notion is that these things move according to, Michio Kaku, according to, you have Avi Loeb, right, the head astronomer at Harvard, saying that these things have electric, magnetic, gravitic components that don't use conventional propulsion as we know it, and that wouldn't leave a contrail. That is all I have, is experts' opinion that a conventional ship couldn't move. You'd actually have to create your own gravitational field to get the type of light, that we have radar scans to get the type of speeds. And if you look at the war.gov /UFO, just type that in, and you can see the government, whether it's true or not, I'll leave that up to you to believe. But this is not conjecture in terms of the government, unless you believe it is. But they say they have evidence, radar scans of high speeds that couldn't be done by convention. So now you
Where's the
have to.
evidence? I want to see it. I'm hearing a lot of words. Give me some
I
evidence.
gave you the website. They are saying these
The
speeds.
government says they have it. Can I see it? Where are these videos of this
Sure.
high speed moving
I can
stuff?
post it for you. This is an FBI log in terms of saying how many feet in the air, how fast it's going. The president came out on Logan Paul and said himself, this is the president of the United States, and you can go look at this interview, saying, these things are moving so fast. I don't think we should hit them, right? I don't think we want to find out
The
what
grainy,
happens
is
if
this
we
a
try
grainy
to
video? Is this a
attack them.
grainy pixelated video?
Well, we did hear from Representative Burchett that this is a drop in the bucket compared to what he was shown. And of course, no one expected in the UFO community them to just dump all the greatest, latest, and greatest files. We've gotten stupid, grainy video after stupid, grainy video. So a lot of your, skepticism is valid, Hitchlap. It's
I
100%
saw a
valid.
9-year-old with a high-speed camera filming a fly. I could see the veins in the wings of the fly. You can't get me one iPhone fucking video of an alien ship, please. Alhamdulillah. Somebody help me out here. I'm going crazy. I'm gonna
Maze,
tip my table over.
Why are you helping Sensei out here, Maze? Where are you? What's
Oh, because
going
she
on?
knows I don't need any help. And in fact, the pastors that came out with articles, right, saying that there was a government directive to get the pastors together in order to prevent ontological shock. Further evidence is circumstantial, as it may be, the fact that they
You don't
don't
see
want to
it
release.
doesn't seem like preemptive narrative support to you,
The
where
point is, if
there's
we're going by evidence, without speculating, without speculating,
I'm not speculating, leading up to said disclosure today, right? That all of a sudden the legacy media is reporting that preachers are getting talked to by government agencies to prepare the public for, or Christians for the, acceptance of other life forms or whatever, right? Like that doesn't seem like posturing. It seems like posturing to me,
Like
right?
a
Like it
psyop,
seems like
like a psyop of
it,
some
well,
sort.
well, I mean, based on the information flow and narrative, right? It's lending credence to the UFO disclosure before the UFO disclosure actually happens,
True.
right? What you're doing is you're saying, "Oh, I need to prepare. What we're about to drop is so mind blowing, so devastating to people's belief structures that we have to go out and talk to preachers to help them learn how to teach their congregations how to cope with what we're about to tell people." And then we get it and it's a bunch of fucking blurry videos, bro. That seems like propaganda, psyop, if you will.
Yeah, 100%. And there's evidence of think tank funding in order to kind of shield the ontological shock. And this is decades old, and how to prepare the public for this. And again, and to your point, Diligent, this isn't like a genius stroke of, unless you want to count all the various propaganda through Hollywood preparing us mentally, whatever, whatever. But I mean, yeah, I think it's a really lazy attempt at, what was done with those meetings? It does seem like posturing 100%. But to that, I would just say it can be two things can be true at once. It could be posturing, trying to grant more authority, even though I'm not necessarily taking the government at their word, like Hitchslap said. What is this grainy footage? And where are the Epstein video camera footages from his? It's the same thing. Epstein was kind of it wasn't a nothing burger, but it was
We
like a
got more
half.
video from the UFO disclosure than we did
Yeah,
from the Epstein files. What the fuck?
exactly. So these are like you liked my comment earlier, and I mean you're 100% right, and this is soft disclosure. This isn't everything. So you have every right to question this, every right to be upset at this, because like
Well,
Hitchslap said,
that just soft disclosure just sounds like cope for true believers in UFOs, right? Like it does it not?
well,
I'm not
yeah,
trying to be mean.
there's a difference between that and a slow drip, right? If it's a slow drip, that means here's a drop in the bucket, here's another drop in the bucket, and eventually, when they believe people are more mentally prepared, they give that high definition footage a 9-year-old can give, as Hitchlap so aptly put it.
Have they ever
It's
done that? Have we ever had that kind of proof of anything major?
Well, they did confirm in Congress that they have the footage, but are choosing not to release that level of
Do
high.
you believe Congress?
It depends on what we're talking about, right? If Congress is talking about the sky is blue in the date, then yeah, sure.
Bingo.
Hey, Slap, are you buying any of this?
No, listen. I love Maze. Everyone knows that. Sensei is a cool dude. I got nothing against him, but this is all bullshit. This is complete. The veins in the wings of a fly from a 9-year-old on YouTube. I can't get one. Every asshole's got an iPhone camera filming TikToks in Costco of them twerking against the shelf. I can't get one. For not even a 4K. Give me one 1080p video, please. This is all bullshit. Show me the evidence. I don't believe any of this. And then post hoc reasoning, maybe there's a horde of big beauty Latinas that follow me around, but they're paid by the government and not to approach me. Right? That's why the Latinas haven't approached me, because the government doesn't want me to be happy. This is the same level of post hoc reasoning. So I haven't heard anything or seen anything that's convincing. I get why people like it. It's interesting. It's exciting. I also want to believe it too. I want some aliens. Maybe there's some big booty aliens that can come down
Yeah.
from Earth and make
Oh
life
Yeah,
easier.
let's
Let's go.
my
go. Let's
goodness.
go.
I'm
Let's go.
clipping that.
We're
Yeah,
close
right.
to getting Hitchcock, everybody. We're close to getting Hitchcock. And then soon we're going to
Revolution.
get Diligent. We're very
Yeah.
close. We're closer than close.
Give me, if you want to bring me on side, get me some big booty aliens that can twerk and dance and stuff like
Clap them
that. But
cheeks.
yes, correct. Can you imagine the alien cheeks? Well, now I'm getting distracted. However,
Whoa,
that's
whoa,
what I.
whoa.
That's
Turn that frown
correct.
upside down.
Yes, correct.
But
Imagine
hitch
what they
slap,
could
they
do.
can fly. Isn't that going to be
What
dangerous?
damn what damn booty cheeks do alien alien being. But no, I'm not convinced by any of this. I just want some evidence. How hard is it to get me a fucking video? One video, please, for the love of God. So everything is grainy and dotty, and a 9-year-old, the veins of the wings in a fly. Yeah, I can't get one video, so no. I'm not
That was
convinced by any of this.
probably AI, Hitch. Stop it.
It was a high-speed camera. You can see that they can film. This is a.
I
They
don't
have
believe the
cameras.
9-year-old knows what a high-speed camera is. Okay, that's
The dad was helping him. The dad put him up to it. But
How
So
do
we're
you
gonna
know
they
that
have.
listen.
though? How do you know
So
that?
in the
That's bullshit.
The dad was there. The
of
dad was there.
open-mindedness, we're gonna listen to this clip of the NASA astronaut Frank Borman reporting controlling a sighting of an unidentified object. This goes with the photos they had earlier. So we're gonna listen to this.
Diligent, what year?
You'll recall at the start of the second revolution, we had a reference to several objects that the crew spotted. This was in the area of Antigua. Due to a mechanical breakdown, we did not have that portion of the tape available for you. This was a line breakdown between Building 30 and our news center in Building 6. Since then, we have dubbed a tape off the master tape here in the control center, and we are now prepared to play it for you. It contains references to sighting not only some particles, but as well as an unidentified object, plus the booster. Here's that tape. We'll play it for you now.
Gemini 7 here, Houston 98.
Loud and clear. 7, go ahead.
Bogey at 10 o'clock high.
This is Houston. Say again, 7.
So we have a bogey at 10 o'clock high.
Roger.
We have 300 people and 90 reposts. Please do me a favor. Go to the comment section.
Gemini
on
7,
X,
is
on
that
the
the
space,
booster or is that an actual sighting?
and repost to space, please. Thank you.
Say again, 7.
Okay, we have several, looks like the 3 up here, actual sighting.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
But we also have the booster in sight.
Understand you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very, very many, it looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
4 miles. Large, looks like perhaps a vehicle that's disintegrated.
Roger, understand they're about 3 to 4 miles away.
They're past now, they're going to polar orbit.
Roger, and understand they were about 3 to 4 miles away.
Trying to appearance line, or further.
Roger. Gemini 7, Houston, were these particles in addition to the booster and the bogey at 10 o'clock high?
December 5th, 1965.
Roger.
7, this is, Houston, this is 7.
Go ahead.
I have the booster on my side as a brilliant body in the sun against a black background and with billions of particles around it.
Roger, what direction is it from you?
It's about at my 2 o'clock position.
Does that mean it's ahead of you?
It's affirmative. Ahead of us at 2 o'clock, slowly doubling.
Roger.
OS 91.
Okay, let's see.
Gemini Control here again. The reference in that conversation to the third unidentified object, of course, was, or the third object, was bogey. There were several references to the bogey. This is the unidentified object, in addition to particles which appear to be headed in a polar orbit, you heard Frank Borman say, plus Jim Lovell discussing the booster. It was Borman who reported sighting the bogey. This is Gemini Control Houston at 4 hours, 24 minutes into the flight.
Yeah, so I said that they identified a bogey and particles. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the footage. I mean, these are just dots, right? Let me change the speed here. Okay. But everything is like really far away, really grainy, really small. Like there's nothing definitive, you know? Um, where's the telescopic lens, right? You're telling me that these military installations don't have a telescopic lens? My phone, my phone can take badass pictures of the moon, right? My phone can take pictures of people like way, way far away. It's like the sleaze bag zoom, right? Like if you wanted to like take a picture of a woman in her bikini at the pool and you're out in the parking lot, like a half a mile away, you can get a good picture, right? The scumbag zoom. That's what the dude who reviews my phones. There's a guy I always watch before I buy a phone. He calls it the scumbag zoom. He's like, if you could take a picture of something from like a mile away or a half mile away and it's fairly clear, that's the scumbag zoom. Where's the scumbag zoom? The most technologically advanced civilization in the world, and we can't get anything better than 180 pi.
Bro, I was sunbaking in my backyard nude the other day, and I'm almost certain that there was a satellite looking down at me from space. Everyone say that they've got satellites in space that can zoom in to my butt cheeks, sunbaking naked in my backyard. You can't get one of those satellites to zoom in on this alien ship. I mean, please, use one of these satellites.
And how are they getting past all of our satellites? You're telling me that we don't have communications and surveillance satellites around the globe that would detect something entering the atmosphere at this point? Look at all of the ones with Starlink, huh? Look at there is a massive network of satellites around the earth. Like you're
Look at
not
when
getting anything in.
look at when they have all these footage, they have aerial photos of like Saddam Hussein's house and Osama bin Laden. They can see Osama bin Laden in his backyard from space. They can't use one of these space surveillance things to like zoom in on an alien. I mean, come on.
Again, I don't think that they're really trying to disclose aliens. I think they are working to build a narrative that is going to create a new fiscal space for some sort of threat that they're going to protect you from. But what I will say is that it's interesting, nonetheless, that some of this stuff, like when you look at some of the footage that they're showing, these were already in some like master debunk, which is interesting because they were leaked at some point and then they were debunked by this other organization. I'm just trying to like right now figure out that discrepancy, which is interesting to me. So either everything that was on that site is bullshit or they're pulling this from debunked sites. I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
Here's another angle to consider, guys. It's always about the money. Think about it. If you get people all hyped up on what might be out there, they've got Space Force they've got to fund. They've got the Golden Dome that they want to, put over our country. They have got so much. And do you remember Trump's comment when somebody asked him about what was going down in Venezuela? And he said he said during a presser, and I couldn't find it, but I remember hearing him say, "We have so much technology, it would blow your mind. It would blow your mind how much technology we have." So I think that's not just, war games, although I think that a lot of this is to set us up that we need to supply a whole, let alone AI, that we need to set up a whole lot of funding for the government to protect us from the space, future space false flag they want to set up for us. Who knows what they're going to do? All I know is I don't trust any of it yet.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
No.
Tyler.
Okay.
Hey guys, how's it going? I just hopped in here. I heard one guy mentioning that he wanted to see an iPhone video. So November of 24, there was a UAP in my town I was living. I have a video of it. It's literally a glowing red disc. It's not. I haven't dug into all these UAP files. That not really of interest to me. I've seen all the black dots you're talking about, and it just seems silly. I literally have a video of a glowing red disc in my town. And I also, the very next day, I got a 25 heavy metal lab test, and I tested positive for uranium poisoning. My uranium levels were 4.2 times higher than the NHANES 95th percentile.
Why is your account locked? Is the government after you? Do you know secrets?
I wouldn't say that. No.
Why is your account locked? What are you hiding?
My profile is private due to vindictive ex and family court corruption, and I have a federal lawsuit going on, and there's a lot of other backlash that's happened to me due to trying to challenge the constitutionality of family
Have
court.
you been kidnapped by aliens? Have you ever been kidnapped and probed by aliens?
And were they thick? I'm asking for a friend. Were they thick at all, or what?
No, I've never been.
Okay, sorry,
I'm not some crazy lunatic. Like I said, I used to be. I'm interested in all these conspiracies. UFOs is never one I researched because I knew that even
He
if I
said
researched it,
Venetian
you'd never
babes,
know
not
what to think.
Venezuelan babes. Venetian babes.
But in all seriousness, there's a video on my profile. If you guys want to friend request me and search my profile for UAP, you'll see it. It's the original video. I still have it on my old phone. The lab results are proven. They're legit test labs. So I mean, like I said, I'm not some crazy nut coming in here. I've been abducted and all this stupid shit.
You have a video.
The video's right there. And the uranium lab poisoning test is the very next day. Before my profile was private, I tagged all the people in the UAP space, and nobody responded. It's just silly. It's like you would think this would be something that everybody would be highly interested in, but
like
everybody,
the video shit and they're not impressed by it.
People only care what the government puts out, I guess.
Why? So you got this high quality video that's proves aliens' existence. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not making any conclusions. I don't know what to think of it. Like I said, I never researched it because you would never know what to think. I think even if I seen that UAP that night and I did not get it on video, I would have woke up and probably still not have believed what I seen with my own eyes. But somehow I got it recorded. And by the way, somebody mentioned like the radioactive stuff messing with cameras, which I've also seen like reports of that on these like documentary shows they have on Netflix. In all seriousness, when I was recording that video, like with my iPhone, you know how you have to hold the button. The video is only about 8 seconds long, so I was recording it, and the video just stopped. Like I didn't take my finger off the button. The video stopped, and then as soon as I go to restart the video and look back up, it was gone. So I fully believe in that. It happened to me. Luckily, the video saved. But like I said, I'm not here to make conclusions. I don't know what the hell to think of it. All I know is when you look at the video of a glowing red disc, it's unlike any of these bullshit pictures you're seeing from the government. And you have verified uranium lab poisoning test results the very next day. Like I said, I would think a lot of people would be interested in that, but it seems like nobody is. But like I said, I'm not
Why
here to
isn't
make
your
conclusions.
video doing the rounds? Why isn't your video doing the rounds?
Great question, buddy. Like I said, I tagged everybody, anybody and everybody in the UAP space, and not a single response. I had the UAP intros guy. He's the only guy who reached
Take
out
your
to me, and
profile off lock.
Maybe it's because you're calling it UAP and not UFO.
It's because you didn't let
Kidding.
Hitch Slap or Diligent repost it, buddy. That's your first mistake.
Your profile's locked. It's hard to see.
But like I said, that was the goal, to try to get it out just to I don't really care. I mean, it's,
Wait a second. Did you
I just,
lock your profile? That way people say they have to follow you if they want to look at your stuff. That's
no, buddy,
dangerous.
I don't care. I don't
Correct.
care
Can you
about
see it
that. I'm not
tagged
even
if it's locked?
I'm not I don't care about people following me. I'm not a social media
Yeah, but
creator.
how can you get people to look at it if your profile's locked?
Well, you can
Yeah,
friend
that's why
request
they're
me and
not
see it if you
responding,
want.
Tyler.
That's what I'm saying. Never mind.
This is a great
It
trick to
wasn't.
get
But,
people to follow
oh, sorry. So, but when I was
this is a great
when I was
trick.
reaching out to all those people, my file wasn't private. And if anybody DMs me, I'll send it to you. I'm not here for freaking
All right.
followers.
Send it to me, brother. Send it to me. All right. There you
I
go.
own a successful solar company. I've made my
Then
money.
say if he
I'm not in
sends
this
you a
for money.
picture of an eggplant, you got to tell us so we can laugh.
Tyler, after you got
You'll be the
uranium
first
poisoning,
person I
could you
let know.
could you move objects with your mind or like super hearing or any special powers or anything?
No, it's no.
Could you shoot spider webs from your wrist or anything like that?
No,
or
buddy.
anywhere else. Or anywhere else.
I'm all for the humor, but like I said, there's a video. It's recorded. There's verified uranium labs. I would think everybody would be highly interested in it, but all you guys are just sitting here making jokes about it, which I'm all
Well,
for
your
that.
account's locked and you're claiming to have this amazing video. The
Yeah,
government doesn't.
I'm not. Look, I follow.
I never said the
669
video was
hold on,
amazing.
hold
I said
on,
there's
hold
an
on,
8-second
hold
video
on,
that I took.
hold on. I follow 669 people. It's quite a process to decide who I want to follow again or unfollow. It's a whole thing, right? I don't want to have to fuck with it. So why can't you just send it to one of us? Why do we have to follow you?
He's playing hard to
Probably
get.
double mute.
I think you said you could.
I'll make my profile not private right now.
Let's
What
go.
about your
Let's
ex
go.
and her suing you and all that? You gonna be
Fuck
okay?
that bitch.
I'm not going to look at his profile, but if it's a bunch of eggplants, I want you guys got to let me know so I can laugh at you.
All right, I'm doing it right now.
If there's any links to the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, I'll be very concerned.
His bio says FAFO, so be careful.
Whoa.
FAFO is better than NAFO. Let's go to social and then Iona.
I live in the middle of Michigan, and there was
I'm
multiple.
sorry.
I live in the middle of Michigan.
I'm sorry.
And we had.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, anyway, yeah, we got our own problems. We had multiple sightings, according to local people, about 4 days ago of one of the fighter jets close to Camp Grayling, which is right off I-75. Multiple people saw the fighter jet chasing an orb. Haven't been able to find any pictures that anybody had, but I don't know why people would make that up. So I'm trying to do some more research. But remember, if aliens have the ability to come here, they're going to come in the form of an avatar or perhaps a hologram. They could come, if they have power to move this fast and this far, they also have the power to make themselves small. So they could come as insects.
Can they give themselves big booties? Do they have the power to increase their booties?
Have you ever smoked DMT?
I think we should go with Hitch Slap first. His question first.
I went to Technical Institute. I took a lot of physics and calculus.
Well, then you
and science.
surely you know that you have to present evidence with claims, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm
So
just
if they
talking
can-
about I'm saying when you're looking for explanations, I think the things they're
No, 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 no,
releasing.
no, 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 no.
Go
I
ahead.
am not looking for explanations. I am looking for evidence. Okay, there's a difference,
No,
right?
I'm
Give
raising
me the
questions we should
evidence, and
ask.
then I will formulate an explanation, not the other way around.
So
Not you
these are
give me an
questions we
ex.
keep in mind when we're looking at the evidence. I don't think these are evidence so much of anything because they're such poor quality. But
Well, we
we
agree
have
on
to
something.
have to keep our eyes open anyway.
I concur. I concur. Let's go to Iona, and then we'll go
Real
to
quick,
Jenny.
real quick. I made my profile public now, so you guys check it out and then get
Put it
back
in the
with me on
I'm
jumbo.
there
gonna
and let
need.
me
I'm
Put it
know.
gonna
in the
need.
jumbo.
No, don't put it in
Oh,
the
okay.
jumbotron. Do not do that.
Put it in the
Go
comments.
ahead. I will let one of the ladies on stage examine his profile for the evidence.
Oh
And then,
Examine this man's
Go
my
ahead,
evidence.
Maze. You
God.
got this.
Just search UAP or uranium. You'll find it.
Put it in the comments, bro.
So
I'm
the
not taking the
ladies
time to do that.
diligent are
Just check
to
it
be the
out.
canaries in the mine in the mine shaft.
You gonna take one for the team, Miss Luke? Go ahead.
Oh no, thanks. I'm not a canary in the mine shaft. I've heard enough. This whole thing to me is just like one big. It's UFO and then with a P after it. UFOP. UFOP. Op.
Does the P stand for fat? Like,
Bobby
PHAT?
Blunt's on YouTube says, I just saw the video on his profile. It's a blur fest, window glare, etc.
It's
What are
literally an
these?
orange disc. I don't know. You're looking at black dots from the government.
A
Oohing and
frisbee is an
ahhing,
orange disc. Okay.
What, Tyler?
and
What are
then
we
you also
searching?
got verified uranium poisoning the very next day. So I'm not trying. I don't know what it is, what happened. I don't fucking know.
AI generated medical documents.
They're
We get
not
it.
AI medical, dumbass. I have the
AI
whole fucking lab
generated
search with
you
the doctor's name.
Photoshop
I
uranium
have the
6
doctor's
times
names
levels.
on it. I have the receipts and everything. I can
Then
send
Photoshop
you
you need to
everything.
go to the
doctor's names.
CIA.
That
How's
just
that?
looks like the moon.
Fuck the government.
For Alan on YouTube asking why we're being so tough on him, it's a little bit of spice to make everything nice, a little bit of spice, a little bit of entertainment. Okay, it's okay.
How the
We can
fuck
have
do
a
you
little
get
debate.
uranium poisoning from looking in the sky? Give me a break.
I have no idea, buddy. All I know
Why
is
didn't
it's
anyone else
real.
get uranium poisoning?
I have obviously nobody gets
Why is it
tested for
just
that.
you? You're
Why does
surrounded
nobody
by
want to?
people and you only get the uranium poisoning. Everyone else is unaffected. Have you got
I had
some giant
Uranus
antenna?
poisoning.
Buddy, how many people do you know that's gotten uranium tested?
Oh,
Why
so
did you
everybody
even
got
get that
poisoned.
tested?
What made
Because
you get
honestly,
uranium
and you guys
tested?
can laugh at
What
me
made
all
We're
you
you
get
not
want.
laughing.
uranium
We're asking
tested?
questions.
The reason why I got tested is my gut was screaming at me that I got poisoned.
That you
And
got
that's
probed.
100% fact.
Oh, so your stomach spoke to you. You heard voices, and then you decided the next day
Buddy, like,
to
you
go
guys
get a
can laugh.
uranium
Like, I'm
test.
all for that. Like, most of the people in this space are crazy and lunatics, and you have to talk to them like that. Buddy, I'm a successful business owner. I taught out of college at age 23. Yada, yada, yada. I'm a highly credible individual, bud. I'm not some crazy
Being
lunatic.
funny is like being intelligent. If you have to tell people you are, then you aren't. If this was really true, you wouldn't have to point it out. What you're
I
saying
never
doesn't
said
make
I
any
am
sense.
or I aren't. What do you mean? I'm sharing
What you
video that I
saying?
reported in my lab results, and I told you I don't know what to think about it. I don't have any answers.
Where the fuck do you get a uranium test anyway? Where did you go to get uranium tested?
I didn't know it had uranium. It was a 25-panel heavy metal test that I
Where
took.
did you go to get uranium tested?
I took it in Kansas City at a place called Smartly Labs.
You went to
I
a
get a
lab. You
stomach
went to a
ache. I take
medical lab.
Pepto-Bismol. I don't think
You
the
went
first
to
thing
a
is
medical
uranium.
lab. You just walked in and said, "Well, I got hit by alien rays. Can you heavy metal
No.
test me in a lab the next day?" Is that right?
No, I didn't. I
You
wasn't even
said the
going to
next
test
day.
for
Is that correct
uranium.
or incorrect?
Say that again.
You said the next day you went and got heavy metal tested for uranium in a lab the next day. Is that correct?
It was a 25-panel heavy metal test. There was 25 different metals.
How long after? How long after?
I went the very next day. What do you mean?
The next,
Yeah.
am I speaking Chinese? How long, when you got hit by the rays, how long after did you go and get a test?
I just said that 4 fucking times. It was the next day.
I just said the next day. You said no. Anyway,
The next day, bud. I seen the UFO on the 24th of November, 2024. I got tested on November 25th.
What? So you just walked into a medical lab and they heavy metal tested just randomly, right? I went to my GP the other day because I had an upset stomach, and they didn't do heavy metal lab testing there. What kind of lab did you go to?
I gave you the name. It's called Smartly Labs, and it's in
I
Kansas
called
City.
it. I
Technically,
called it. I'll just draw your attention up to the Jumbotron. I fucking knew it. Zensei found it on his profile. I knew it.
Did you find
You
an
did what?
eggplant?
Knew it. I knew it.
BBC?
Yeah. There's literally a
The
picture of an
BBC?
eggplant on his profile. I knew it was a trap, bro. I knew it.
what are you
Zensei,
talking
shout
about,
out to
bud?
you.
An eggplant? What are you talking
Yeah, you're
about?
right, Dilly. Once again, as always, you're right. I got to give you credit. But on a serious note, I got to head out of here, guys. I'm
That's
meeting someone. It's
crazy.
Friday night, and I
Wow.
just want to say
Thanks
diligent
for
to
showing
go.
us that
Yeah,
eggplant, Sensei.
of
Wow.
course. Yeah, Hitch Slap is a goat.
Got
And of
that
course,
girth
Maze
for real.
and Harmony. You guys draw all the best ladies on the stage, so I appreciate you guys. And to this brother's point, Tyler, you know, we do this in jest because a lot of these things are very serious, right? And if you want to talk about genius ways, Trump looks like an idiot compared to Diligent, who is allowing laughter, which calms the nervous system, to be the biggest shield to ontological shock. And I would just say, you know, I have my own videos, you know, I've recorded some things, and I don't want to get into that at length, but I think that's contributed to why I have the views that I do, right, as an experiencer to a degree, right? It's not that I'm getting abducted, but I did see something outside my house that, you know, my family and I thought was a lamppost. It stayed there for quite some time. That eventually I did record it. And unfortunately, you know, I wish it looked better at the time. It was in 2018. The iPhones maybe weren't so great, but this bright light started moving. And then a helicopter, very low flying helicopter, and kind of a jet. I don't know what kind of jet. I'm not a military expert, but a very low flying one. It looks like the Blue Angels low, like way too low. Military jet did come in, and it moved around and it changed directions and whatnot. And then eventually, recently, you know, I was out with someone very special to me, and she doesn't believe, right? And that's no big deal. Not everybody is meant to know certain things in this lifetime. But at the end of the day, we did see it together, and I think it did change her view after dinner. And speaking of which, I do have to go. I love you guys. You guys are incredible as always, Maze. You know, always here to be one with all the amazing people on stage. Jenny, I wish Reptile would come up, brother. We got to do a space, and I know we're in the back channels about it, but we will. And Diligent, I'm gonna try and frequent your spaces, brother. I've been gone, but this is another banger. So guys, repost the space.
Welcome back, brother. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Maze, you're awfully quiet. Yeah, Hitch Slap is getting destroyed in the comment section. These UFO and these woo woo foo foo people, they are very upset at you, Hitch Slap. They don't like you at all.
What's their argument? Do they have an
They say
argument?
Hitchslap talks over everyone and no one can hear anything. What is
Mm-hmm.
Hitchslap doing? He is so rude and boring.
Wow. Well, I would never.
Boring is not one of those qualities. Sorry.
All the UFO commenters on YouTube, I will never recover from this. Listen, bring some. You know they're upset because they don't have any evidence. It's very simple. All you people in the comments are upset. Get some evidence for UFOs, and then you can shut me up.
Maze, you ain't got nothing. What are you doing, Maze? Where are you?
I'm just
So I found
going.
a compilation of every single video from the files, and I've been watching it. We are 29 minutes in. I have not seen one clear video image of a UFO. Not one. They've all been small dots, grainy, blocky, undistinguishable. There's a weird one, but of course, it has a black spot over it. Like nothing.
Hotel Alpha Alpha, call Bahrain East 132.12. 132.12, Hotel Alpha.
So this is an object they see near a ship. It's just a little dot way off in the distance.
I mean, I don't know. I just I think it's funny. I'm looking through the videos too and just trying to see. I found the one that Rep Luna posted pretty interesting. I'm trying to kind of investigate what that is. The
I mean, it
little
looks like it looks edited to me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect them to come out with some real shit. I think this is again just something to be
For
able
the
to.
record, she was saying Anunnaki, not Ashkenazi. Just for the record.
Well, I don't think this is Anunnaki. Anyway, was that? Well, yeah, I see what you did there. Anyway,
No, I'm looking at the comments.
oh,
Ashkenazi Australians, don't worry about them. It says Ashkenazi aliens or something.
see, now you have a hybrid audience of the both of my following. That's
No
hilarious.
anti-Semitism. No anti-Semitism.
Yeah, no anti-Semitism.
I didn't say
Mike,
anything.
speaking of
I'm
anti-Semitism, what's
joking.
up, Mike?
I'm joking.
Just I'm fascinated by these reports. I mean, I guess what's the timeline for this? Like, how long is how long will these trickle out?
They didn't say. They just said they're going to continue to trickle over time.
Every day, brother.
Well,
Like an old man taking a piss.
hopefully they have a little bit of dramatic release to them, as far as like, why start off with the good ones, start off with the bad ones, and slowly ramp yourself up to a nice little climax.
You want like Alien versus Predator, Mike Mac, or what?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't want it at first though, right? I want to build up to that. I want the little these little fishtail looking things crawling over the
Yeah, but
ocean.
there's nothing here. There's not even anything that like
So, Mike,
is
they're
leading
edging.
you on.
Pace yourself, D. Pace yourself, bro.
Give me a little something,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
Something.
Well, those styrofoam pieces off the freaking Apollo 17. I mean, come on, those could have
Mike,
been.
this whole thing is a pre-advertisement for the Steven Spielberg movie. Come on, they're getting everybody ready.
Yeah, that's not a bad call, actually.
So, Mike, what you're saying is they're edging. Edging.
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yo, this is kind of
Hi,
sad. Literally.
sorry. You said my name earlier, and it's very late here. I'm in Europe, so I'll have to go. Thank you for, yeah, well, allowing me to speak. I just wanted to help a little bit because many of the videos you are seeing, which are not very clear and grainy and so on, they are actually infrared videos. Planes and military are using infrared cameras because they allow, to see in the dark, or to better see the metal targets and things like this. And also infrared pictures and videos are notorious for having glitches and false positives. So, you take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes you see a dot that is moving, or sometimes you see a dot while the plane is moving, but actually it's a false positive. So that's what I wanted to say. And also, there is a difference between radiation poisoning and uranium poisoning. You can get radiation poisoning from a distance. You can't get uranium poisoning from a distance. You need to inhale dust or to consume contaminated water. These are kind of the only ways to get uranium poisoning. So I just wanted to fact check that because, radiation poisoning you can get from a certain distance, but not uranium poisoning. And also, as a fact checking, barium and aluminium are not used for seeding clouds. There are other things that are used, not barium and aluminium. This is a confusion that many people make.
What do they use?
So it's different. Mostly is dry ice or salt, the normal salt that we put in food, sodium chloride or potassium chloride. They also use silver iodide, but this is usually used from the ground, launched from the ground as a kind of smoke, for agricultural terrain or something like this, not from the plains. So what you see from the plains is either dry ice or salt, like common salt.
It looks like just the upper atmosphere would be barium. Some military has done some testing with that.
Yeah, they used barium in the upper atmosphere to trace winds. That's true. But it's not normally used for cloud seeding. And as far as I understood, it's no longer used. They use barium because it's easily detectable, but it's in really upper atmosphere. And for aluminum, actually, the cartridge in which the salt is packed is made from aluminum, if this helps.
Is
Love
there anybody?
her.
Hey, is there anybody in the government that's ever asked, like, did some kind of study why every freaking picture we have? My iPhone 9 has better freaking footage and takes a better photo and video than now watch this, every single video that has ever been released in the history of the world.
She
Every
just
one of them.
told you it's because they use well, Luana, will you mind telling him again what that might be?
Something about the
Infrared.
No, no,
dark.
no, no, no.
Infrared.
No, no. I'm
Infrared.
talking about.
No, no, yeah.
Common sense. One 4K video's got to seep through. One of them does,
At
right?
nighttime, in the
They
dark.
won't be seen. They won't show themselves.
So
Aren't
we've
these
got.
50 years old? Isn't everything we're seeing over 50
Yeah,
years
it
old?
No,
was in
there's some reports at 25,
1964.
2025.
My
We
mom
just
was
saw
60.
we just saw
I feel
videos
like
like about a
Mike
year
Mack
ago or
and
so that nobody could see anything on it. It looked like a freaking like a little mini bubble cloud going whip whip whip, and all of a sudden it's a UFO. Oh my god, this is
hey
time
Mike, were
travel,
you and
people.
Hitchlap talking in the DMs? Because I feel
Yeah.
like we're repeating this conversation we had
Oh, I
30
just
minutes
Great
came
ago.
on here. I didn't
minds,
know y'all were talking about that. I just think
great
it's
Oh,
time
Mike,
travel.
great minds think alike. Mike,
bromance.
Thank you,
Mike.
Hitch.
Before you arrived, I was making the exact same point because me and Mike have a telepathic link over the astral plane and morphic resonance. Shout out, Ripper
Yeah, look at the comments.
Great minds think alike.
Time travel. That's what it
What
is.
the
Yeah,
hell is the
y'all can deny
astral
it all you
plane?
want to, but that's what it's going to come down to.
Where's the astral plane, Hitch? Is that like in your brain or
Yeah,
what?
no, the astral plane is if
No.
there's
I
a
don't want to hear about it. Nut job. What the hell are you
Well,
talking about?
if
there's
the
a
astral
plane.
plane could be videoed, it would be videoed on freaking horrible photography. I can tell you that. Get it? That's a joke.
If
It's in
It's the first stop
Australia, which is
after
a
Not a
you
joke.
fake
die.
country that doesn't really exist at all. So they just call it the astral plane. They pretend like they can communicate telepathically through their brains, which they really cannot because, well, they can't.
No, this is
They're
a
aliens.
It's
They
the
can.
astral plane is the first plane. It's the first stop after you die.
There is a pilot named Astral, and he flies a plane, Astral's plane, and he sends messages back and forth between me and Mike, like a carrier pigeon, but it's Astral's plane. I thought that was obvious.
Can confirm.
Fact check true.
Wow.
You're from the same star, you two.
I just lost 10 IQ points. Thank you very much.
Oh my god!
Thought
I know where they are. I know where they are now.
that was my plan all along.
Thank you, Hitch. I didn't know. I knew you were going to do it, but I didn't know who they were going to come from.
Correct. See, great minds think alike. Me and Mike are on the same intellectual level.
Which
Mike,
is a
you're
bunch
gonna
of dudes in like a locker room and being like, nobody would tell any stories in front of you guys because you'd rip their ass apart if they were trying to be vulnerable and tell any kind of a story or anything that not the kids in the corner believe. Holy crap, they're going to get roasted. And you
me
know
and
why?
Mike.
You know why they invented the word conspiracy? To keep people from looking. Do you want it underneath the UAP and UFOs? Advanced military technology. They're covering up for crafts that they have that people have seen, and then they lie to people and say, "Oh, we don't know." So then there's UFO lore to cover up their own technology. We have TR-3Bs right now. The patent was out. Salvatore Pius, he did that. It's a triangular craft. We have stuff that can go super fast now. We've got incredible technology. So that is what's
Jenny,
underneath a bunch
nobody
of
knows.
geeks
Nobody
you
knows
guys are
your
making fun
acronym.
of.
Okay, nobody knows what your acronyms
It's
are.
a
Okay,
TR-3B. It's a
nobody
patent.
knows that. That's TR3. That's
Oh God.
C3PO. Nobody
Well,
knows
I'm
that.
sorry.
Breathe, Jenny. Breathe.
I
They're
don't.
having fun. They're having fun, Jen. So have fun back with them. They're
I
taking this
try to
serious
have
and not
fun.
serious.
I know. It's just fuck, man.
Don't let them
I've
steal
never
your
seen Hitch
IQ
so much
points.
on the rag.
Don't
It's
let them
funny.
Jen,
It's
steal
not.
your
It's
IQ.
funny. It's
Jen,
funny.
you
It's
are
making me
making
laugh.
You guys have
unfalsifiable.
hardened Hitch.
You are
He is now
making
a meanie pants because he had to go through all the crap with all you fucking crazy people. That's
No,
what
we're just
happened.
having fun. Just relax.
Jenny.
So
You are
am I.
making
So am
Jenny.
I.
You are making unfalsifiable claims, and me and Mike are here. We've had it. Me and Mike had a talk before the space. We had enough of this feminine nanny state nanny thing. Don't hurt anybody's feelings. We don't. Me and Mike are here to lay the smackdown. Bring the evidence, or me and Mike are going to
Thank
call you
God.
out for it. That's it.
We're not going to feminize UFOs anymore. Okay, those
Correct.
days
No
are
more
over.
feminization. If
You
you bring
guys
up
are
false,
You
Don't
guys
bring
are on your
unfalsifiable
Sigma
claims.
grind set. I appreciate it. I mean, there's
Me
a lot of
too.
people are on the same, they want the same evidence. It's fair.
Bring the evidence.
Yeah, I don't think the evidence is coming because I don't think that they're real. Really, I just really think that it's Anunnaki, and they have they're interdimensional beings, and they have these little spaceships. Like, they're demons. They're demons here that show themselves like that's just what they are.
The
And until you
you a
boy.
accept it, the
Palladian?
better
What?
it's gonna be.
Are
Are you
you
being
a
serious?
That's
Palladian,
wild.
Sally? Do you think you're a Palladian?
No, I don't even know what a Palladian is. Like, I don't
You
even know what those
probably
things
are,
are.
Sally.
No, these little alien things are not aliens. They call them aliens, but they're interdimensional beings. They're demonic little things that they do these little seances to get all their knowledge. They've been here since the beginning of time, since the creation of this earth. And
The
so you
Irish used to
are looking
call
for
them
this.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
gremlins.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you have
Yeah,
receipts for
Gremlins.
whoa.
this?
What?
I'm gonna need
Yeah,
some
what?
receipts.
This
Whoa,
whole
I
man.
woke
space is
those it
just
That's
up.
smoked crack.
wild. Hey, I
I'm
was
just
gonna
saying.
say, nobody's mentioned the underwater submerged objects, the USO. Like earlier today, man, at a Goodwill, I bought this Oxford dictionary. I was looking through it, and I saw the U.S. It's underwater, no, unidentified submerged object. You guys
Hell
ever heard of
yeah.
that?
No.
You
Is that
know?
This is
is
Yeah.
like
that
a
in the
good
Little
one.
Mermaid with the little staff thing, the
Yeah,
trident?
this is
No,
like a good
it's
one. USO.
yeah,
That's cool,
yeah,
dude.
USOs, the in the sea, like
This is more believable because it's hard to get underwater. This is
yeah, nobody talks
Unidentified
about that.
swimming objects. There we go. There we
No,
go.
it's
This sounds
submerged.
very
Submerged.
Disney. This sounds Disney to me.
I
I
saw
think they
No,
a
have more of
USO.
it's
those
the
than they do
truth.
land.
Under the
No,
sea.
it's real, man. It's
To
just
all the
look it
Hell
haters
up.
yeah,
in
brother.
What
YouTube
the hell is
comments,
real,
the
dude?
Why are you
USOs
being
are
Israel into
real.
this?
What?
No
Look,
anti-Semitism. No
the only way these videos can happen the way they are, they can be submerged in a place where we can't get to, and they get filmed in a place by this bad video, is time travel. That's the only way. They're not coming back here scraping any of the freaking videos that we got. Like, oh my God, that's a 4K. We'll go back and get rid of it. But oh, look at these. Well, we're not going to get rid of those. Those are terrible. That's when they're using their infrared. Who cares about infrared? They'll blame it on freaking styrofoam. It's fine, let it go. But that bitch was on a 4K with a freaking ringtone, ring cam. The whole neighborhood was hooked up to the same thing. Time travel.
Hitch, is it true that in
Who?
Australia they have
I agree.
UHOs, unidentified hopping objects?
Yes, we do have those. This is true. I eat them. I eat their the filet mignon, the backstrap. I eat it medium rare with some olive oil and salt and pepper. Correct.
Will you tell us about the emu war again?
Kangaroos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kangaroos.
You eat the kangaroo?
He
Yeah.
does, yeah.
Let's bring
Yeah.
it back into the topic, you guys. I've let it go far
Okay,
enough.
okay,
Michael,
sorry.
go
Under.
ahead. You got your hand up. Michael.
Yes, sir. Yes, I just got to agree with Sally over here, man. I feel like these UFO files are nothing but a distraction from the fact that we're getting submitted, like we are being overran by artificial intelligence and the technocratic state that is going to enslave us. And they're giving us little breadcrumbs here and a circus there, and they're all trying to keep us entertained. But, you know, these UFO videos you guys are mentioning, they were shot by military cameras. Even if it was 50 years ago, that equals 10 years ago iPhone capabilities, man. I mean, the military has access to technology that we're not going to see for the next 10, you know, 10, 15, 20 years even. And I feel like they truly are demons. You know, demons can give you access to technology that moves you further from God and closer to Satan. We know, if you read the Bible, that Satan controls this place, not God. He may have created it, but he doesn't control it. You know, these are fallen angels that are giving us access to technology where we build our own crafts. Of course, we've got unidentified flying objects, unidentified submersible objects, all that. But that doesn't mean that it is an alien species coming to get us. I mean, there's you can look it up right now. The United States Navy has patented technology for not only a perpetual motion machine that basically runs on hydrogen and creates a sun contained in a magnetic field that heats generators to spin, water pipes to spin turbines to
That was
create
in the UFO
electricity.
files. that right
Michael,
there,
Correct.
that hydrogen
Well,
was in the in that
don't
in the
It
file
forget
wasn't
today.
an actual. Hold
anti-gravity.
on, hold on. It wasn't a real machine. It was an idea for a machine or a
no,
proposed patent.
but no, a granted patent must have a working model, and it was a
No,
granted
no, it does
patent.
not. Things are patented without working models all of the time. All the time.
So you can patent an idea.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's literally
That
what a patent is.
no, a patent is a working model. That's the same technology that they use to create anti-gravitational force to propel spacecraft. I had this idea when I was in junior high. I mean, if you can determine the relationship between the magnetic polarity of the Earth and create a magnet that can create an equal or opposite attraction on that same polarity, you have magnetic propulsion, which is what spacecraft supposedly uses. I mean, obviously the Nazis invented this already. So it's probably been around since even
The
before them.
scientist that went missing, that ties right into that.
I'm sorry.
The missing scientists, like there's 12 of them that have gone missing or dead.
Oh
That
yeah,
tied right into that.
and the ones before that disappeared on that
Grok. Hold
flight.
on, hold on. Grok, do you have to have a working model to patent something?
No, you don't need a working model to patent something in the US. The USPATU explicitly says a working model or prototype is not ordinarily required. Filing a patent application counts as constructive reduction to practice. Your detailed description and drawings are enough, as long as someone skilled in the field could make and use the invention from them. The only real exception is for things like perpetual motion machines, where they might demand a working model because it seems to
There you
break the laws
go.
of physics. This has been
Exactly.
the rule since the late 1800s. They
And
used
they
to
have a
require
patent
models,
on this.
but dropped
Mute
it because
In
it was a
yourself.
China,
hassle.
Mute yourself.
I'm
Grok,
sorry.
continue.
Okay, I'm here. What's up?
Ugh. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a working model. And if you don't label it a perpetual motion machine, you can call
But
it anything you want, right? Like
no,
so if there's bro, if you talk over me one more time, I'm booting you off the stage.
understood.
If Thank you. If there are perpetual motion machines, if you don't want to have to meet the standard, you can just call it an energy relay, right? Like there's a shit ton of different ways that you can bring it up. You do not have to have a working model to create a patent in the United States. This is a fact, right? It's a long known fact. Period. A patent is not proof of existence. It's not evidence of anything other than a submission of designs and drawings to the patent office. That's all it is, right? That's like saying, for example, oh, well, I have a receipt for a ticket that I purchased on Southwest going to California on September the 11th. So I can proves that I was on the flight. Well, a ticket is or a purchase of a ticket is not a boarding pass. If you had a boarding pass that was punched by the airline and had a receipt of your travel, that would be a receipt of the flight, right? But purchasing the ticket is not receipt of the flight. It's not evidence of the flight. It's evidence of you buying the ticket. It's evidence of intention, right? But it's no more than that. The patent is the same way. You can patent any idea that you want as long as you can draw it down on paper, the designs, the illustrations, whatever, right? You can patent your idea without submitting a prototype or a working model. This happens all of the time. There's a ton of intellectual property that is patent pending or IP or patented every day. This happens every day, right? So having a patent is not proof or evidence of existence. Go ahead, Michael.
There's also nothing that defeats thermodynamics that has a
You're right on
patent.
the core facts. You do not need a
Mm,
working model to get a patent in the US. A detailed description and drawings that let a skilled person build it is enough. That's been standard for over a century. You're also correct that a patent is not proof the invention works or even that it exists physically. It's just proof that you filed a legal document claiming the idea. Plenty of granted patents are for things that don't work or that were never built. Your analogy to the plane ticket is pretty good. The patent is like the ticket purchase. It shows you staked a legal claim to the idea, not that you actually flew. The one place you're stretching is the perpetual motion angle. The USPTO will still reject it if the examiner believes it violates the laws of thermodynamics, no matter what clever name you give it. They don't just look at your label, they look at what the device is actually doing. If
Grok,
it's claiming to create
scan for precedents of somebody sneaking through a type of perpetual motion machine without having to give a working model.
Yes, it happens. The USPOTU has granted patents on devices that are functionally perpetual motion machines, like gravity buoyancy loops or magnetic motors, without requiring a working model. A clear recent precedent is US 1104735-9B2, the gravitational turbine engine. It was initially rejected because the examiner pointed out it violated basic physics. Net work in a closed loop should be zero. The inventor argued back. The claims got tweaked slightly, and it was allowed anyway. No working model was submitted. There are dozens more. The USPOT even has a classification code, F03B17 plus 04, for alleged perpetual mobilia with fluid loops, and over 70 patents have issued in that category. Older examples include Howard Johnson's permanent magnet motor, US 4151431, which got through in 1979. The trick, like you said, is not loudly calling it perpetual motion in the claims. If the examiner doesn't immediately spot the impossibility, or the applicant pushes back hard enough, it can slip through. A patent in these cases is just proof the paperwork passed, not that the thing works.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, thank you. So as we just seen, Grok as an AI agreed with you, or I'm sorry, disagreed with you originally, saying that no, you must, if it's labeled as perpetual motion or anything like that, it must be a working model. And then it reneged and says, no, I'm sorry, you're right. Like this and this has
No,
been
it
done.
agreed with me
But
that people don't call it perpetual motion machines.
I
They give
I
it another
understand.
name.
I understand. However, I can say that China developed this technology and launched an artificial sun into their atmosphere. You can look it up. It's reality. They have the capability to create this technology where once you put in enough hydrogen, you create a microstar and it is contained in a magnetic
Okay.
field.
Okay.
The amount of energy that is dissipated to create that magnetic field, that's why our Navy patented it, because they knew China stole the technology from us. That's my point. But my ultimate point is that this technology is from a demonic entity. It is bringing about AI sovereignty to where we will be enslaved by an AI god, which I feel will be the
Okay. Okay.
Antichrist.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. This is
Oh,
it's I promised my audience I'd be a little bit more open minded, but that's a little too much for me to swallow. I just can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry. Mike Mack, go ahead.
I just want to say there is no existence of a proven perpetual motion machine. Period.
Ever.
Ever.
besides your mouth.
Mike, what about
What
if you
the
just put
hell?
Mike? What about if you put a magnet on the front of the car and then you put the opposing magnet with a rod, like a carrot and stick? That is a perpetual motion machine, right? That'll work.
No.
But the magnet will pull the other magnet forward, Mike. Don't you get it?
No.
The opposing forces, the magnet.
The closest thing that you
No.
can get, the closest thing that they
No.
have, so the closest thing that you can get
No.
is a magnetic force device where they sell them often now, where you have an object, a globe or something decorative, floating above another magnet where they have the same polarity, and the bottom magnetic force is pushing the hovering device, which it's maintained, it's still tethered, right? So it's still tethered, but the hovering device is kept in perpetual levitation, right? Because of the magnetic force. This is about the closest you will ever get to a perpetual motion machine. It
Well, they
uses
create.
magnetic.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they create a force. They don't create energy though.
Well,
There's a
I
force.
mean,
There's a force there, but they
magnetic
don't. But the
force.
magnets don't create energy.
Well, I mean, the force is energy of a type, right? It's a force. It's force energy, but it's not.
I mean,
It's
endless.
kinetic. It's kinetic, right? It's kinetic energy. But it doesn't create a redistributable amount of energy, right? Like it's a very. Go ahead, it's that.
By the way, in case it wasn't clear, I was joking about the car with the two magnets.
We
Also,
know. We know.
Diligent,
No.
the thing you're the thing you're describing doesn't have any movement, right? It's just something levitating above something else with magnetic force, correct?
The force is it's not moving per se, right? Well, I
Yeah,
mean, or it's
that's
moving at such a it's almost like immeasurable, right? Everything is
but
moving.
so there's like a ball. So they're reverse polarities, and there's a ball levitating against like a
It's a
plate. Is that
static
correct?
force. It does not grow in any way, shape, or form, right? It's not in motion. You're talking about motion.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's the whole point of a perpetual motion machine is the motion. The problem is air resistance, wind resistance, entropy, and entropy is always increasing, etc. So you can't get movement, and if you do get movement, something has to start the movement, and then something will stop the movement unless you add more energy into it. That's the problem, right, of a
Grok,
perpetual motion
explain
machine.
the magnet devices that I was using as an example.
Those are called magnetic levitation devices, or maglev displays. They use two magnets with like poles facing each other, north to north or south to south, so they repel. The top object, like a globe, floats above the base because the repulsive magnetic force pushes it upward against gravity. In most of them, the base is powered by electricity. It uses electromagnets or sensors that constantly adjust the field to keep the object perfectly centered and stable. If the power goes off, it drops. Even the versions that use permanent magnets only work within a very narrow sweet spot, and they're usually tethered or stabilized so it doesn't flip or fly off sideways. In both cases, no energy is being created. The floating object is simply being held in place by a constant push. There's no motion and no usable work being done.
If they're hooked up to power, then that's cheating because it's putting energy into the magnets, which is what makes the movement. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing. If you just have magnets with no power, you need energy to start the movement, and the movement will stop eventually because of air resistance and things like this.
Well, magnets lose force over time, right? As
Also
they
true,
become.
yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like a
Psych.
spring. A spring can push something, but it has to be compressed first. Something has to kick it off.
Okay.
Well, why don't you give us another
Michael, you can
acronym, Jenny?
respond because we chat all over what you were saying. You can respond, and then we'll go to Miss Lou.
I looked up the patent for the.
Real quick. I'm sorry, a little housekeeping. Make sure you guys are all following my co-hosts, Harmony and Maze. Maze is the queen of woo-woo. Harmony is the queen of hot yoga and booties. Turn all notifications on for them. They both host their own spaces. If you want to support what I'm doing, the best way is by going over to YouTube, subscribing, turn the notifications on, and sharing my YouTube link out as much as possible. I'm trying to grow my YouTube over there. I'm a little fed up with X. You can see my pinned post to see why. Also, if you want to support by subscribing, if you are a subscriber, even though I'm going to be focusing on YouTube, I still will be putting out, I'm still doing spaces. I'm also still going to be doing subscriber spaces and have our subscriber chat. So I'm not abandoning X. I'm just focusing more of my production value into YouTube because X has been disappointing lately, to say the least. So turn all notifications on for my X profile and my YouTube. Share that link out. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on X, and I do subscriber only after spaces to give value to my subscribers. There's a link up in the Jumbotron. We also have a subscriber group chat that you can join as well. So there's a pink button on my profile. Go use that, and we'll be here for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. Go ahead, whoever was talking.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. So I did look up the patent. I just shared it to my page for a craft that uses internal mass reduction device. The device itself is patented. I apologize. I have it saved somewhere in my files. I saved it a long time ago when they patented it. I don't have access to it, but it does explain the theory behind it and how it works. And like I said, China did duplicate this. The patent that I'm referring to is US 101-445-32B2. If you look that up, you'll definitely see that the technology is available. But thank you for your time.
121445 BCB.
US 101-445
BBC. Got it. Head Slap's going to look that up right now.
32B2. Yeah. I shared it on my page if you want to go look. Thank you for your time, man. Appreciate it. I'll follow you on
I just
I'll
typed
follow you on
BBC
YouTube,
into
brother.
Google. I just typed BBC into Google, and I don't like what I just saw.
Hey,
You
Dylan,
gotta
did
be
we
careful.
go over the Charlie Kirk thing? Did I completely miss that?
Yeah, that's recorded on the space or on the YouTube. You can go back and
Thank
watch it.
you.
But
My
pretty much they pushed the main hearing back, the evidentiary hearing where the prosecution has to show its cards, why they're going after him. They pushed it back to July, which I anticipated. They also decided that they're going to keep cameras in the courtroom. And the defense was trying to have them removed. So a big win for both of us all the way around, I think. I think that this case decidedly needs intense scrutiny, and we need access to the courtroom. So I'm glad the judge decided on that. And to get a fair trial all the way around for Charlie and for Tyler, I think that more time is needed to sort through all of the evidence, since they say they have 300 terabytes of data or some insane amount of information to go through. Right on. Maze, Harmony, do you have anything to add?
No. I had a great space with you two. Thanks for having me up here.
Oh, look at all these hands. Look at all these hands going up. Sally, go ahead. Miss Lou, and then Jenny.
I just want to say that I have thoroughly enjoyed this space, guys. Make sure you're subscribing to Diligent. Make sure you're following Maze and Harmony. I have had so many laughs today and lots of knowledge as well. So thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you for coming and bringing us some pushback and comic relief there, Hitchlap. Really appreciated. I don't care what all of these woo-woo people say about you, Hitchlap. Free my boy Hitchlap. He did nothing wrong. He's just sticking to the facts. Okay, sorry. Facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings.
I feel bad. Why? I feel bad like I took a piss on a bonfire. Everyone's having a bonfire, and I show up calling for evidence. I just want to say again, I love Maze. I love the other speakers. I love Jenny, even though she shit on me earlier. We're just having a bit of fun. This is a short space.
Wait, did you not shit on anybody? You had like a flamethrower of turds.
Well,
it was pretty impressive. I wanted to give you a hug.
I shit on random people with locked profiles claiming that they had UFO videos that were better than government quality. I did shit on those people, yes.
Yes, you did. And you're right about just being honest. I think that getting your feelings hurt is a problem, and we have way too much of that. And we deal with a lot of mistruths and disinformation because we let people keep talking about bullshit. I mean, it's very important sometimes just to be honest and not. Who cares if you might hurt somebody's feelings, but be tougher than that. Because what do you want to do? Walk around listening to a lie? Sometimes people can be harsh when they're telling the truth, and maybe somebody cries about it. But like, what do you want to do? Believe a lie?
Demand evidence. Demanding evidence is not being mean.
I was also making it a bit spicy.
Amen.
Alex Spin 3 rules. Always provide value, take nothing personal, and never be boring. So I was just a joke. Everybody relax. I hope that lock profile guy isn't upset or looking up BBCs or anything like that.
He's already probed. It's okay, Hitch.
I'm crying.
Go ahead, Miss Lou.
Diligent, this space has been so much fun. I thank you so much. And I really am proud of you for going out into a little bit of woo woo here. But I'm going to give you guys something that's kind of interesting, happened 5 minutes ago. And tell me this isn't some kind of marketing trick. I got a pop up on my phone while I'm on this space listening to you guys from the Weather Channel. And it says, "Do you believe it? Lightning from space. Find out more." I'm like, WTF?
Yeah,
You
they're
know,
definitely watching your ad
I
profile,
I
100%.
mean, it's like, come on, obviously the trending topic is UFOs, UAPs, everything else, and now the Weather Channel has to ask me if I want to find out more about lightning from space. Next, they're going to tell me it's some kind of, circular thing that's flying around throwing lightning. I mean, it's just crazy.
When are they
Thank,
gonna admit they can control the weather is my
yeah, bingo. Geoengineeringwatch.org, kids, check it out. Thank you,
Okay.
Delegate.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Grok, I want you to tell me, we're going to finish on this note. I want you to tell me which is more likely using first principles and Occam's razor, which is more likely that the UFO disclosure from today is actually a government psychological operation or that it is actually disclosure of extraterrestrial beings and technology. And then I want you to tell everybody to I want you to say good night and tell everybody to follow us to the after space.
A government psychological operation is far more likely. Using first principles and Occam's razor, we know governments run psychological operations, spread disinformation, and use classified programs to manipulate public perception. That's documented history. We have zero confirmed, reproducible evidence that extraterrestrial beings or technology exist on Earth. Every major disclosure so far has either been misidentified human tech, natural phenomena, or stayed at the trust me, bro stage. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So far, we don't have it. Good night, everybody. Make sure to follow for the afterspace.
See you guys later.
See you later.